Before we get into today's normal, regularly scheduled episode of Commitment, we have a special treat for you because it is time once again for another Muppet script reading, which means it is time for another visit from some cast members / behind the scenes people of another Muppet script reading. So I am lucky enough today to be joined by Matt Wilkie and Siobhan Thompson, stars and producers and directors of Muppet Treasure Scriptland, coming to you on May 12th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Welcome to the podcast, both of you.
Hey, thanks.
I should say welcome back, Matt. You've been here, about 72 times?
72 at least, yeah. And somehow I've never had to talk about Muppet Babies with you, which is great.
We try to save people from that one. We try to keep the guests off of those episodes just because why should anyone else have to watch Muppet Babies?
I haven't watched it since I was 4, so I'm assuming it's a perfect show because that was my experience of it at the time.
Yeah, that is most people's memories of Muppet Babies, and I think that's how
Muppet
it should
Babies
stay.
And the Ewoks cartoon.
Yeah, two things I think that should probably just
they probably both
stay.
Really hold up, right? And the Ghostbusters cartoon, they're probably all really good.
Yeah, I think masterpiece is the word I would probably use.
Yes.
If you keep them in your memory, and especially don't watch episodes back to back to back for a podcast.
Oh boy, yeah.
They are not necessarily made to be consumed.
They're not bingeable.
No,
by adults
no.
in en masse.
Yeah, by adults in 2026, back to back to back. Maybe not the way that anyone intended those cartoons to be watched. Especially for a podcast where they're going to nitpick them and be like, well, the plot of this one's a little weak.
Don't know about this second act turn.
But we just watched an episode recently that almost made us cry because it was actually so good and emotional. So somehow they made one perfect episode of television, and then they were like, let's make 100 not good episodes of television.
And that episode written by Charlie Kaufman.
It was the first thing he ever did.
First thing he ever did. It happens sometimes. You're like, why is this one episode of Fraggle Rock so good? Oh, I guess Quentin Tarantino wrote this one episode of Fraggle Rock. Sure.
The only episode where we saw Fraggle feet. Oh, well, I mentioned we are here for the Muppet Treasure Scriptland. But Matt, how about you tell us a little bit more about what's actually going on with that and who's in it and what charity it's supporting this time?
Absolutely. I'd love to. So this is our sixth show, fifth movie of this series that we've been doing now. And the Muppet script is a loving tribute to the films of the Muppets where we focus on, surprise, the scripts of the movies. We bring in wonderful comedians like my friend Siobhan Thompson here and many others. We bring in live musicians, and we basically present what would be kind of like a table read or kind of like a new musicals run through. So we're super excited to be doing Muppet Treasure Scriptland. It's going to be on May 12th, as we mentioned. And we are super excited because we've got, in addition to my friend Siobhan here, a really great stacked cast. And the highlight for a lot of people and for myself as well is that we got Mr. Brennan Lee Mulligan to play Long John Silver.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Don't know who that is.
This is going to be his big break, I think. This will make him really pop.
I'm really looking out for this kid. I think he's got a lot of chutzpah.
I don't know. He seems lazy.
but we're super excited about the show. It's coming up soon, and we're so grateful to anyone who's listening who happened to get a ticket for the live show because they sold out in under 3 minutes for this show, which is an incredible feat. Couldn't have done it without our fans, and we're so excited to be doing it. But as always, we also do it as a live stream. So we'll be streaming it on the night. So on May 12th at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we'll perform it live. We'll stream it live. And then if you have the ticket included in the price is the ability to watch it again and again for up to 2 weeks. So if you can't watch it live, you can watch it later, or you can just watch it every day until you get sick of it. So as always, we do these for charity because I think giving back is so important in these times right now. And every time we choose a charity, we try to do something that is affecting people at that moment. And very unfortunately, something that's affecting a lot of people is things like the ICE raids and different things that are happening in this country to the immigrant community. We are coming together with the California Collaborative for Immigrant Justice, which is a organization that utilizes coordination, advocacy, and legal services to fight for the liberation of immigrants in detention in California. It's a very important cause. It's something very dear to my heart. I don't know how you feel about cursing, but I will say proudly, fuck ICE. And this is a big part of that. This is our way to fight back against them.
Cursing encouraged, if anything, Matt, on this podcast.
Oh, great. Well, then
ICE.
again, fuck ICE, yeah. So I think that something like this is an incredible thing because it is it's a big part of community, doing whatever you can to just allow people to live their lives as they choose to and deserve to. And things like this are just terrible. So
Yes.
if we can help in any kind
Buy
of
a
way,
whistle, join a signal group, watch the Muppets. These three things together.
Little did you know, watching the Muppets.
It's an act of resistance.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, getting into the Muppets, Matt, you and I have talked about Muppets multiple times. I know how you feel about the Muppets.
Hate them. What a bunch
Creepy.
of jerks.
Creepy. It's made of fabric, but it's talking to me.
They're for
Disgusting.
babies, just babies like them. That's it.
The main guy's just naked all the time? Who thinks that's okay?
And this is for children?
But I don't know, Siobhan, your feelings on Muppets.
I love the Muppets. I really feel the most parasocial that I feel is about the Muppets. They are real and their lives are important to me. I'm reading the gossip pages. I'm following the Muppet Dumois.
Oh, if only.
I know. I deeply love the Muppets. One of the great sadnesses of, I think, all millennial comedy writers is that they made two of these Muppet, recreations of classic literature that were both completely perfect, and then they stopped, and now none of us get the chance to write one. What the heck? Let me write a dang Muppet movie.
What's your pitch for an adaptation, Siobhan?
Oh, Matt, I'll tell you.
I would love to hear
I'll
it.
tell you. It's Jim Henson's Dracula.
Ooh, all right.
Miss Piggy plays both women, and Kermit plays both Dracula and I can't remember his name, the Keanu Reeves character. Double casting, Sinners style. It's a challenge. It's an acting challenge for both of them.
It's going to be a little easier to pull off two Kermits on screen at the same time.
No, I don't know. Because he doesn't have a lot of range. So, that's a real acting challenge for Kermit. He's going to have to do some accent work. He's going to get a nomination for this one. This is my strong feeling.
Yeah, I like the idea people have pitched of a Muppets Pride and Prejudice, but you run in very quickly to the problem of...
Not enough girl Muppets?
Yes.
Yes.
You have Piggy, Janice, Camilla, end of list, pretty much.
Yes. Well, some of the sisters are human.
Yeah, that would be...
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because there is the misconception that a lot of people have of that Muppet movies are one human and all the rest are Muppets.
But there are multiple humans in Treasure Island and Christmas Carol.
Right, yeah. I think Scrooge is just so memorable in Christmas Carol that people are like, there's only one human in there.
Yes, but his nephew
reality,
is a human.
Dozens.
His niece is a human.
Well, and you've now been typecast, I think, as a human amongst Muppets.
Yeah, this is my second time playing the human.
Yeah.
And I feel very comfortable playing a human amongst Muppets. I feel like that is also sort of my day-to-day work as a comedian.
Yeah, not a lot of prep work in there. You're like,
No,
okay, how do I get into the brain
am.
of Sam the Eagle? You're like, I can be
Right, exactly. But
a
I
pirate
did
boy.
also, because I did Great Muppet Caper, playing the Diana Rigg role. And then after that, I was like, I'm going to email Matt and save my spot as Jim Hawkins. I can do the Jim Hawkins singing voice. That is what my singing voice sounds like. I am English. I was a choir kid. I've spent so much time singing in churches. I know I can sing this. I can please, Cosby, please.
And I mean, talk about Kermit not having range.
Yes.
Siobhan is the exact opposite. I knew for a fact, hey, I can play an English, kind of iconoclast diva in a sort of way with Lady Holiday,
Yes.
and can also do the little lad cleaning up in the inn.
Yes. A lot of sweeping, a lot of
Sweeping.
performative sweeping in that role.
So you got to train your forearms up. That's really the stretch here. You gotta
Yes.
get your forearms
there's
ready.
A wrist flick to it.
Well, you mentioned, your day to day a little bit. You feel like the human amongst the Muppets. And
Uh-huh.
uh, is that what you appreciate about the Muppets as well? As sort of there's this vibe to, I think, taking silly things really seriously.
Yeah, I really enjoy anytime anybody commits to a bit. And it feels like the Muppets have been committing to the bit since their inception. They are self-aware, but also they are alive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like they're a little meta. Like obviously they'll acknowledge from time to time that they are puppets. But
Yes.
you still, the next second they're on screen, you're like, right, but Kermit's alive.
Yes.
Like if Kermit walked up to me right now, I'm not going to be like, ugh,
And like,
puppet out of my
look,
face.
Isn't Richard Kind a Muppet?
If anyone
Absolutely.
is.
If Richard Kind shows up in a thing, he's playing Richard Kind, you're absolutely delighted. He has a shtick and he's gonna play it, and you're gonna have the time of your life. It's just a cadre of character actors who happen to be made of felt. That's all I want. I love a character actor.
I love the idea of and I think they toyed around with it a little bit. But I love the idea of just like a Muppet showing up as a character in a thing. Just like like bopping around.
I want it so badly. Like that's when everyone talks about, the idea of what if we cast a movie with all Muppets and one human, who would that be?
Mm-hmm.
I want the opposite. I want to see Gonzo just play like a background role on Grey's Anatomy, and no one references it. No one says anything.
Great.
He's just there as a patient. He's sick one episode and he's gone the next episode, and no one brings it up.
He's got something stuck up his ass, and then it's at the end you find out it's a hand.
Yeah, you just get his X-ray and they're like, doc, he's got a bunch of bones you're not supposed to have down there. Well, when did your love of the Muppets start, Siobhan? Were you a little kid?
I did watch, we were talking earlier about Muppet Babies, a classic of the genre. I watched a lot of Muppet Babies and loved every second of it. Then Fraggle Rock, I loved Fraggle Rock. But then there's also there are puppet shows on British TV as well. I think I was just generally into puppets. There was Sooty Sweep and Sue, which is for very small children. But then there was one called Bodger and Badger, which I loved because Badger was really naughty. And he loved mashed potatoes, and it was mostly him throwing mashed potatoes around the house, which when you're a child, there's nothing more entertaining than a Badger puppet throwing mashed potato at a very angry man who is his roommate.
I'm looking at Bodger and Badger right now, and those eyes on Badger are something.
Oh, that Badger is unhinged.
Well, when you were growing up, did you have a favorite Muppet that you connected to, that you felt like, this is my guy?
It's tough because what I love is the Muppets.
Right.
I love the ensemble of it. But I love Miss Piggy. I love Animal. I love any agent of chaos. Is just so delightful to me. I just am so thrilled by naughtiness. Really, really does it for me. Even now, at my big age, if somebody's naughty and gleeful about it, it's my favorite thing in the world.
When you think about Kermit and Miss Piggy's relationship, it's had its ups and downs through the years. It has, sometimes it's never actually confirmed. Kermit especially will dance around it and not really want to admit to anything. If, these are your friends, you have friends like that, would you reach out and say, hey, maybe Miss Piggy, you deserve better. Maybe you should leave this guy?
Listen, as my close friends, I'm just here to tell you that they're in a beautiful monogamous relationship that works really well. And Miss Piggy just needs her name in the papers. And so she creates drama. And because Kermit loves her, he lets that happen. And that's beautiful. But they love each other very, very much. And they're very happy. And it's really sweet. And they have dinner parties. And sometimes I go.
Confirmed here.
Confirmed here. Du moi. Muppet du moi.
Yeah. Or are there other relationships within the Muppets that you feel like, there's, Janice and Floyd?
Sure. Janice and Floyd are very much an open relationship.
That makes a lot of sense.
And we love that for them. They invented poly. They invented ethical non-monogamy in the 60s, and they've carried it on, and they're the only people that it works for.
Yeah, we do learn, I think it might be in the 2015 Muppet series, that Dr. Teeth and Janice at some point had a little bit of a relationship as well. So
for sure. And that's a classic band situation. Everybody's had a little flirtation with everybody else, and that's cute. Gonzo and Rizzo, obviously. They're roommates.
Yeah. Camilla's there
Classic
sometimes.
odd couple, yes. There are three of us in this marriage.
So then are we worried then that, since Rizzo hasn't been around in a while and Pepe has sort of stepped into that role, do you think something dramatic maybe happened between Gonzo and Rizzo?
I think I'm worried about that, because what a perfect friendship, and Pepe's great, but Rizzo's my boy.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of relationship that your friends are in, where you're like, yeah, your current partner's okay, but your ex was amazing.
Yeah, he's okay, but when the breakup happens, I'm not carrying on that friendship.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go get coffee with Rizzo. Yeah,
I'm
from time
still
to time.
hanging out with Rizzo.
Yeah,
and Pepe, I guess, can come to brunch.
Yeah, but only if you also come to brunch, Gonzo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pepe cannot come on his own. If you're sick or something like that, Pepe is
uninvited. And then you're when Pepe isn't at brunch, all Gonzo talks about is maybe breaking up with Pepe. And then you have to spend the whole time when Pepe is around, pretending you're not having that conversation with him every week.
Mm-hmm.
Tough.
It's very tough.
I
feel kind of bad for Pepe, but I feel like he's also...
It's not Pepe's fault.
Yeah.
It's not Pepe's fault.
Yeah, it's not his fault that Gonzo had a better partner before he showed up.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with him, really.
Yeah, he's known Rizzo since the late 70s. They go way back.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I can't let you go without asking you a D&D related question.
Sure.
So I'm curious, if you could add one Muppet to the cast of Dimension 20 for a season, which Muppet do you think would either be the most fun to join the table or the best maybe at playing the game?
I think the best at playing the game actually would be Gonzo.
Mm.
He's smart, he understands story, and he's very willing to do brave, sort of out of the box thinking, and put himself into positions of danger, which is sort of such a big part of the fun of D&D. Yeah. He's just a very brave player. I think Annabelle would be worst at it.
Yeah, he wouldn't be very good.
I think he would eat the dice and then eat the table and then smash the dome.
Yeah.
Which would be very entertaining for the 20 minutes that he did that, but ultimately, we're shooting 20 episodes, and that's
got to be a season finale kind of behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
And Animal doesn't have it in him to stay restrained for 20 episodes.
No, exactly. It would be a lot of him going.
You're gonna have to sedate him.
Yeah, you're gonna wait your turn, and I don't think he's very good at that.
It does not seem like patience is one of his skills.
No, exactly. In fact, he can't make it through a whole song,
right,
without going hog wild on the drums. Again, one of my favorites, but a tough addition to the table.
I would love to see Sweetums play D&D. I think
I was thinking Sweetums also. Yeah. We don't get enough of Sweetums, and he's so charming.
And I think he wouldn't play he wouldn't be a heavy. He would be...
Yeah. Well, because he gets to be a heavy every day.
Exactly, yeah.
I would love just a very straightforward Sweetums who's just hey, I brought my own dice, here to play. This would be great, guys. Yeah. Looking forward to this.
he's leveling up his sorcerer as he goes. He doesn't need any help. He's familiar with the new system. He knows what the spells are and how they've changed.
I love the idea of Sweetums being a secret D&D nerd. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Just awkward high school photos of Sweetums as a nerd who's getting bullied for his love of D&D, but now he's turned it into a passion.
The only trouble is getting him into the dome.
He is quite large.
It's true.
But the dome is much larger now than it used to be.
Yeah, it does. It seemed a little cramped early on.
It was cramped. It was so cramped that it got shut down by the fire department.
Matt, you want to tell the people once again where they can go to get those streaming tickets?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So if you go to dynasty.tv or dynastytypewriter.com, I think Dynasty TV will be faster though, especially because that's where all the live streams live, so you can get that direct link there. And just as a reminder, it's Muppet Treasure Scriptland on May 12th. It's coming up soon, and we're really, really excited. I can't wait.
We're pumped. And it's so many fun people as well as me and Brennan. It's
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
an absolute
we've
killer
got
cast.
we've got Mark Evan Jackson and Nina West returning as Kermit and Piggy.
Incredible.
We've got Erica Ishii coming back for Rizzo, who kills it every time. We've got some new folks like DJ Mausner and
Incredible. So
just
funny, DJ.
So many great folks. Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun.
I'm just excited to play Jim Hawkins and wear my silly little costume and sing my beautiful soprano chorister voice, which is in every way useless otherwise in my life.
I mean, you've also had some recent pirate training with Vanellope. So
yes, and I have a bosun's whistle. I'll grab it. It's right here.
You always have to be ready with it.
Yeah.
If you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. Get ready for your mics to get blown out.
Well, see, now what we've learned here is Cloudward Ho was really just prep work for Muppet Treasure Scriptland. That's what all that was for.
Well, and I'm from where the pirates are from. You know, Muppet Treasure Island is a West Country to West Indies story.
So you were born to play this role, is what you're saying.
I was born to play this role. I am Jim Ladd.
Well, thank you both so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week, for the first time in almost a year, we are going back to visit our friends on Sesame Street.
Is that true?
That is true.
What the heck?
It'd be a weird lie.
We were in the 80s for too long.
Again,
this is messed up.
I had a baby, Sam.
Oh, yeah, right.
We took some time off because my wife had a baby. And so we didn't watch our normal stuff for a while, which slowed us down. And the episode about Sesame Street that we did about season 20 actually was recorded before my baby was born, but was released after my baby was born. So that was like right around that same time. Wow. So yeah, it's been almost a year now since that episode and my baby were brought into this world.
Wow. What a beautiful birthday for both of them.
Yeah. But yes, we have reached another November in our chronological journey, which means it is time for another season of Sesame Street. Specifically, we are in the fall of 1989 discussing season 21 of Sesame Street, notable for being the last season that Jim Henson worked on before his death in the spring of 1990. But before we get into that, Sam, I have a question, a thing I just realized this week for some reason I don't know about you.
Okay.
Are you a clumsy person?
Oh, I don't think that I am, but I'm very bad at like sports, hand-eye coordination kind of like. Well, I'm not bad at hand-eye coordination. There's something about sports that I'm just bad at. So I would consider myself like bad at sports in a way that is clumsy, but in my normal life I am not clumsy.
Okay, you're not dropping things, you're not injury prone, you're not just bumping into doorways.
No, I think it's probably even more of a psychological block that I'm so bad at sports because I'm just like, I'm going to be bad at this. And team sports, but like I can like run or like I've done a little bit of like rock climbing and stuff in my life. So there are like physical activities I can do and I don't feel like I'm going to die if I do this. And I don't drop dishes. I don't spill stuff. I don't drop like food on my shirt or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Really. I'm not stumbling around or rolling my ankle. No, if I was like a D&D character, my agility or whatever would be like would be like whatever the neutral score is. I'm totally normal. Sometimes I do a little stumble. Most of the time I'm okay. I like to like balance on like parking median, like those cement things.
Yeah. Do a little balance beam thing.
I'm pretty good at balancing. I do a little yoga here and there. I can do the different. I used to be able to stand on my head.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
You know, I can do some stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't consider myself clumsy. No, are you?
Oh no, I mean I don't think so, and I feel like I try really hard not to be.
Oh, interesting.
Well, one of my
Like to keep up appearances or something.
no,
like
not
that?
necessarily. More so of like, so I am a no phone case person. Like I don't like
Dear
cases
Lord.
on my phones.
You are?
Here we go. Yeah.
I've never noticed that before because I
Here's
think
my
of
phone,
you
Sam.
as
Look.
you make Matt. That
It's
makes
just
me
naked.
really actually scared. I am kind of clumsy with my phone. I do drop my
Okay.
phone quite a bit. It's so dang slippery. And do you ever do the thing where you drop it on your face when you're in bed?
I don't ever use it that way.
I do that every now and then. But yeah, I couldn't be a no phone case person. I'm a no phone screen protector person right now, just because I dropped
Oh,
my
yeah,
phone
I
so
don't-
many times that the screen protector shattered into a million pieces and I had to take it off. But no.
Yeah. See, I could say I have dropped my phones less than 10 times in my life, as far like since I got smartphones.
I didn't
in
drop my
2007.
phone 10 times in like the last week.
The times I've dropped my phone, it has always been like a devastating drop where it has truly shattered, or like this is boring, but I do the thing where you trade in your phone whenever you want a new one, so they take it back if it's in good condition, all this stuff, and it's always in good enough condition that they'll just like give me full price for it.
Yeah.
There was once like 3 generations of iPhone ago that I had my phone for like 3 years, and I was like, I'm going to trade this in. And 24 hours before I was meant to be trading it in, I dropped it in a parking lot, and the glass shattered across the front.
No.
Sad day. But yes, I am not a phone case person. I just like the way phones are without the cases and screen protectors. Like, I don't want the extra bulk on a phone, so I have always just not been a phone case person. That is the thing that I feel like I don't know if judged is the word, but I feel like when most people, when they see my phone, they're always shocked to be like, whoa, no case. And I'm like,
I don't know if judge is the right word either. I just think that you are fucking insane.
well, see, and for me, that's how I see everyone else.
Do you like the aesthetic of the phone? Is that why you don't
Yes.
put a case on it?
It's the
Okay.
aesthetic. It's the thinness. Like, I
Yeah.
think iPhones
Totally.
are
I
designed
agree.
extremely well. And I've thought, like I said, I had the first iPhone in 2007. I have liked them since then. And the idea of adding bulk or a shape to that, I don't understand. So it would just be like adding foam padding around my MacBook. Like, that's not, I want to carry this light, sleek thing around. I don't want to carry extra weight.
I'm sure the people who designed the iPhone hate cases. I would guess they probably are like, what?
Yeah, like when they design their own fancy leather cases, it's probably where they charge like $90 for them because they're like, we don't actually want anyone to use these.
But like there was like sometimes they'd make iPhones that have like glass on the back. Remember that? There was one that had like, so what
An
are
iPhone
they're
4, I
asking
think?
for us to destroy these things. Wow. And it sucks to get your phone fixed. This is boring too, but it sucks to get your phone fixed in Montana because you gotta sometimes you gotta go somewhere else to Spokane.
Yeah,
or
we don't have
something.
any Apple stores, so you have to go to like a place called like You Break It, I Fix It.
Yeah. Well, I've dropped my phone a lot. The only bad thing that happened was that my battery swelled up one time.
Ooh, yeah, that'll happen.
I've never really destroyed a screen that much, but
Yeah.
the battery did do that.
Have you ever broken a bone?
The only time I've been to the hospital for stitches is close. I was walking down the stairs as a child, and I wasn't holding on to the. Have I told this on the podcast before?
Maybe, I don't remember.
I think I was 5, and I had an ice cream sandwich, and my playroom was downstairs in our house, and I was pretending to be a waiter, and I was holding the ice cream sandwich like a
Definitely
waiter,
told the story before, but it's very good.
like a fancy French waiter above my head with my hand, and I remember my little other hand being on my hip. I was walking down the stairs, and then next thing I know, I was like careening towards there was like a door frame at the bottom of the stairs, and smashed and split my head open and got stitches. But no, I dislocated my shoulder, but that's just because like I have genetically bad shoulders. But no, never broken anything.
That balance of safety and whimsy, young Sam had to walk that line, and that day he lost. Yeah, I never broke a bone because of like falling out of a tree or anything. I was in a car accident once. I was a passenger.
That almost doesn't count.
No, yeah. But then I also was in a cast because I tore the cartilage in my knee playing football, which sounds way more badass than it was. But I was like 9.
Oh, okay. That sounds really, really pathetic.
Yeah, I was like 9 or 10 years old.
A 9-year-old shouldn't
football.
be tearing stuff. I feel
no lifelong injury from 10 years old or whatever. But that was the only time I was like in a full leg cast from like hip down to toes. But yeah, no, never just broken an arm on a trampoline or anything. I would say I'm not clumsy, but I'm not careful. I used to do
I'm pretty careful.
This sounds worse than it is. Backyard wrestling with my friends.
Matthew
Gatos. I'm going to explain myself very quickly. This was not the backyard wrestling where we had fluorescent tubes or anything like that. This was
barbed wire.
No, this was 2 friends on a trampoline who knew wrestling was fake and predetermined, and so we were like just putting on a show.
That still sounds really dangerous, though.
I think there was definitely some danger involved, but we weren't trying to hurt each other in any way. We were trying to not hurt each other. So when you say backyard wrestling, it sounds scary, but it was more like just playing in the pool, jumping off of the thing into the pool, sort of fun. And occasionally, I didn't have a pool. My friend had a pool.
Wow. Rich friend.
It was above ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense for somebody who's doing backyard wrestling. But you didn't break an arm or you didn't break anything doing
No. I think at most I probably sprained some wrists and ankles. But again, the only time I ever had have a cast, I believe, was when I had knee surgery for a football injury. That's why I'm thinking about this a lot because my kiddo is starting to pull herself up to stand.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's constantly just grabbing onto things and like wobbly, just like, look at me, I can hold myself up. But I'm like, yeah, but you're also going to fall in half a second because you don't actually know how to hold your
Doesn't
your
have
body
very
up.
far to go, though.
No,
She's pretty
but,
short, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, and that's doctors say if your kid falls from their own height, it's fine. But I just think of myself just falling backwards and hitting my head. And I was like,
well, yeah. That
no.
doesn't count for you.
Yeah, doctor would not agree. Like, and I didn't say you can fall from your height.
But yeah, that would be, I mean, I've seen gnarly things happen to children and then they just get up and they don't even, the things that make kids cry and the things that make kids not cry are so crazy. Because like, I've seen like my little brother get fully kicked in the head by a kid on a swing set and like go flying and get up and just be like, all right, what's next?
Ugh. That's the stuff that I know is going to happen.
Yeah.
But like try not to be the helicopter parent, like overprotective parent.
Yeah.
But I am constantly just like, okay, but if I can stop her from getting hurt, I should. But at the same time, I know she's going to get kicked in the head by some kid on the swings and all these other wild things that I remember happening of just falling off of playground
She'll be
stuff
on the
when I was a
playground
kid.
by herself in school someday. And children will be daring her to do all kinds of extremely dangerous things.
And she'll do it.
And she'll do it. Because you were a little daredevil as well, it sounds like.
Yep. Oh,
She'll be backyard wrestling with her friends. She might be smashing fluorescent tubes off somebody. It might just be normal then in the future. That might be the only thing that we have to do.
Actually be government mandated. I think you have to.
Exactly. Yeah.
The executive order says mandatory backyard wrestling class at school.
I mean, Linda McMahon's the head of the education department, isn't she?
Oh no, Sam.
Matt.
You're not wrong.
It's all part of the scheme.
They've been wanting to get wrestling into schools.
Yeah, we got to get some farm leagues going.
Oh, well, I think we're done putting more fears into my dad brain. So how about I just ask you, what did we watch this week?
Hey, well, speaking of children, that's a weird thing to say. This time we watched a whole ass load of Sesame Street stuff from season 21 of the show, which aired between 1989 and 1990. We're in the 90s, Matt. We did it.
We are dipping our toe.
We're going to go back. I know we're going to go back. We're never going to get out of the 80s, but doesn't it feel crazy to say that we're in the 90s?
It does feel weird. Like the last time we would have discussed something from the 90s was maybe the Muppet Meeting films.
Yeah, and those were really 90s.
Yeah, and we watched those forever ago and have no memory of them. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
it does feel strange to know that we are actively in the 90s and feeling like we are in the 90s.
Yeah. Before we get to season 21 proper, however, first we watched The Wild Ducky Chase, which was available as a souvenir VHS from the theme park Sesame Place, which opened in Langhorne, Pennsylvania in 1980. The Wild Ducky Chase was part of an attraction called Sesame Studios, where kids would be selected to act out Sesame Street stories with their favorite characters against a green screen set. The kids would then be keyed into the footage, and their parents could buy the VHS of their child, in like a little Sesame Street skit. In The Wild Ducky Chase, Ernie declares that he wants to look for Rubber Ducky, who seems to be missing. So he recruits Bert and a gaggle of kids to form a search party to go whitewater rafting, submarining, and flying in a plane to search for a ducky in all these different biomes. They can't find Rubber Ducky, and just as they're about to give up, Ernie reveals that he has Rubber Ducky in his pocket. He's had him the whole time. He wasn't missing. Ernie just said he wanted to look for him. So on to the actual show.
I hope you're not giving that much detail to everything on this list.
No, I'm not.
We'll be
I
here
just
for
thought that was
10
really
hours.
interesting.
Yes, it is weird.
I just thought that was an interesting thing. On to the actual show. In the season premiere, which aired on November 13th, 1989, we're introduced to all of the characters we know and love, and a new one, Mr. Hanford, a retired firefighter who purchased Hooper's store from David when David moved upstate to a farm to help his grandma. Why are you shaking your head like that?
Because it's weird for them to use the cliche dog.
The most classic, yeah.
We got your dog didn't die. He just moved upstate to a farm.
And I do
for
always
a
picture a
human.
farm in upstate New York, right? That's that's what it means. Yeah. Anyway, another notable character introduction this season is Minneapolis Johnson, Bob's brother, played by Jeff Goldblum. Minneapolis is a globe-trotting adventurer, always questing around the world, much different than his homebody brother, but the two love each other very much. Minneapolis comes to Sesame Street as part of one of his quests and asks Bob if he can crash at his place. Bob says of course he can, and then introduces Minneapolis around Sesame Street. Minneapolis is stunned upon meeting Snuffy, as his current quest has him searching for the golden cabbage of Snuffertiti, an ancient queen of the Snuffleupaguses who discovered that cabbage tasted good. They head to Snuffy's cave where they find the golden cabbage hidden, and then it's time for Minneapolis to take off because he did his quest. Bob is sad that his brother can't stay at home with him, and Minneapolis is sad that Bob won't come on his adventures with him, but they part ways as brothers and, more importantly, friends. This season is notable as being the last one that Jim Henson recorded material for, so we watched a lot of Jim skits, the Twiddlebugs, a few Guy Smileys, plenty of Kermits, and Bert and Ernie's, and we'll talk about all of those later. We saw also First Lady Barbara Bush visit Sesame Street and read a book to some kids. We saw Elmo continue his rise to the top, including the debut of Elmo's song, which will become the theme to Elmo's World in later seasons. And we also heard the debut of one of Grover's signature songs, Monster in the Mirror. In the season finale, which aired on May 11th, 1990, Gina, the teenager who works at Hooper's store, graduates from high school. Ruby and Telly get it in their heads that after graduation, Gina is going to go to the moon and never see them again. So they set out to make her a Sesame Street yearbook with pictures and messages from all her Sesame Street friends. Gina, however, isn't going to the moon. She's not even going to college. She's going to stick around Sesame Street and work at the store until she figures out what to do. And you know what? Good for Gina. I wish I had done something like that. I think that's great. I guess she never really goes to college, though. Huh? Or maybe she does. I'm not really sure.
We gotta keep watching, Sam.
I guess we'll find out. The 1989 TV season was sort of exciting for people exactly our age. It saw the debut of The Simpsons, Seinfeld, Northern Exposure, Wings, Doogie Howser, Family Matters, Baywatch, In Living Color, and America's Funniest Home Videos. Doesn't that sound like the TV you used to know, Matt? Doesn't that sound like home? It sounds
like a mix of TV that I loved and the TV that I was like, what the hell's Northern Exposure?
Oh, I loved Northern Exposure when I was a kid.
Really? I feel like I can picture the credits popping up for that, and it was always the moment I changed the channel.
No, that was a good show. You would like Northern Exposure, Matt.
I might.
Got the whole DVD, the whole series on DVD if you want it. It had a huge impact. It had a huge impact on me because it had a really good soundtrack. So my dad had tapes like Northern Exposure Volume 1, 2, whatever, and we listened to it a lot. You should watch it. I think you'd really like it. Other very popular shows that were on the air that had premiered previously include Full House, Roseanne, The Cosby Show and its spinoff A Different World, Golden Girls, The Wonder Years, Matlock, Who's the Boss, Night Court, and Cheers, which was still somehow a top 10 show 7 seasons into its run. Isn't that crazy?
It's fucking good.
Yeah, it is. It is good. But it's, I mean,
That's such a
stayed good
lineup.
for so long. Isn't that wild? That was some good ass TV.
That's some good ass TV. Take us back.
You could just sit and watch TV all day long, and you never run out of stuff to watch somehow. Even though there's
that's
only
still
3
very
channels.
much true now.
I guess so.
You can watch all day, every day, and never come close to watching everything.
There's a certain freedom though in the TV telling you what you're gonna watch next, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more that I could say that would be really boring about like creative endeavors in that time where there was only so many channels and so many shows, and so networks had to be more selective, or we had this like monoculture where everyone knew Cheers and everyone knew Roseanne because there wasn't 1,000 things happening at the same time. And so I think now there are some really good shows that get buried and people act like no one has ever heard of them, where it's like, no, but if this was 20 years ago, everyone would be talking about this show.
Yeah. And we're entering into like this fun time where it's kind of like deconstructing some of those shows like Simpsons and Seinfeld.
Right.
And even Northern Exposure was like, I know you didn't watch it, but in a lot of ways, Northern Exposure was like kind of a tamed version of Twin Peaks, where like it wasn't explicitly supernatural, but it was certainly like a little bit of a magical realism world where, I don't know, there's just like moving on to the next phase of like kind of weirder stuff that, I mean, I guess it's the thing where it's like, whatever culture was when you were 12 is the best culture of all that's happening right now, but it's the fucking Simpsons and Seinfeld. Come on. We
were ahead of the game. We were into culture when we were like 2.5.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, before we get into talking about this season of Sesame Street, I want to say a big thank you to Shane Keating from Tough Pigs for once again helping us out and putting together this watch list for us. His knowledge,
so good.
Yeah, his knowledge of Sesame Street is much deeper than ours, and so he's able to put these things together and highlight things that he knows are worth watching or are important to the history of the show, and gives us nice notes to say, hey, this was the last thing Jim ever filmed, so you should probably talk about it.
This is why I picked this. Was so helpful.
And so, yeah, this was Jim Henson's final season. His last day in the studio was November 21st, 1989. And that day he filmed 3 musical segments, which were Don't Throw That Trash on the Ground, I Wonder About the World Above Up There, and The Bird Family, all of which we will talk about this week. And worth noting, the 21st season finale aired on Friday, May 11th, 1990, which was just 5 days before Jim passed away. But there were some things happening in season 21 that we did not watch because we did not have 1,000 hours to sit and watch everything this week. This season focuses on environmentalism and to teach appreciation of nature, hence the littering and trash can stuff that we saw. They also show how Maria and Luis raise a baby. They give lessons on infant care and development, which we didn't really see. We saw the baby maybe once briefly in what we watched today.
Yeah.
Elsewhere on the street, Gordon and Susan's son Miles begins kindergarten and learns how his school format differs from daycare. We also didn't see this, but something that I have burned into my brain from childhood. This season was the debut of Alpha Quest, which if you just look up Alpha Quest Sesame Street, you'll either react or not react. But this little girl, yeah.
I would never have even connected that with Sesame Street.
I think that was my thing too. I don't know if I knew what this was, but for those that don't know Alpha Quest, there's a little girl walking down a colorful hallway of doors, and there are letters flying around, and I don't remember what happens next, but I'm assuming she opens one of those doors and goes somewhere.
And probably learns about a letter.
Probably. But the imagery of this little girl looking above her at the word Alpha Quest and that hallway, I was like, oh my God, I forgot this existed, and I forgot it was Sesame Street.
I'm watching this intro, and it's all coming back to me. I don't know that I ever thought this was Sesame Street as a child. Whoa.
Yeah, it kind of has a kids song energy. If you ever watched that show,
no, I don't know that one.
Kids Songs was a show made for kids, by kids, and starring kids, where they would like make music videos.
Yes, okay.
And it's like a very Muppety plot line where they took over a TV station. And so the kids have all the jobs from hosting to cameras to directing and everything.
Like Kids Incorporated. Remember Kids Incorporated?
A little bit.
That was like that, but they were making TV shows. I love this show because the intro to it, Alpha Quest, the intro to it is as long as the content. Love to make a show where that's the case.
But also in season 21, Uncle Wally gets a pet seal named Wolfgang.
Oh.
Yep.
Interesting. There's a lot of seals in there's a lot of seals in one of these skits. Is it one of those guys?
At least 7.
Yeah.
But Uncle Wally's one of those characters who just has not won me over yet. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what to do with him. They're giving him a seal.
Yeah. He's also been the reason that we saw Garbo and Professor Rabbit before.
Yes, okay. I was just thinking, isn't he friends with a rabbit? And I do feel like Uncle Wally being friends with an elderly rabbit and they're kind of a duo, that's his thing. That should be his thing. That fits for some reason.
I feel like they just keep throwing things at him to be like, is this anything? Will people like him now? And the answer for me so far is not really.
I don't dislike him. He
brought Garbo into the world, which I think just makes me dislike him. Bob also visits Grouchy Town during the season 21.
That doesn't seem like a good fit.
I think he's going as a bit of a Jane Goodall amongst the apes sort of situation. Where he's like, I gotta understand these guys better. But there are also some injuries on Sesame Street this season. Barkley hurts his leg.
No.
And Slimy is hurt while skydiving.
No. I actually think a worm could fall an infinite amount and not be hurt. I think
probably
that's like
something
actually
there.
True.
But he sprains his middle after a bumpy landing.
Why didn't we watch that?
I think that's probably the extent of it.
He sprained his middle.
Yeah.
We didn't see much Oscar at all this time, did we?
No. Maybe some very brief things, but I don't have any big memories of Oscar from this week.
And there's like at least 2 things we watched all about trash cans that did not involve Oscar.
Maybe it was too responsible this season about actually being good about trash. And he's like,
he kind of a character who's like, maybe he refused to be on this season. He was just like, no, I'm not spreading that. I'm not spreading that lie around.
More dramatically, though, on season 21, at one point, a fire breaks out in the basement of 123 Sesame.
I always assume that's where Bert and Ernie live.
It is, which goes a little unaddressed because Jim and Frank weren't there.
Yeah.
So what happens, I watched this segment to understand it. Hoots is the first one to smell smoke and alerts Big Bird. Thankfully, by the time you hear police sirens and fire truck sirens very, very quickly. They're on their way. But Miles, Gordon and Susan's son, hears the smoke alarm go off, and because he learned what to do in a fire in a previous episode from Mr. Hanford, he crawls out of the room underneath the smoke and evacuates safely with Gordon and Susan.
Oh, forgot you're supposed to crawl.
Well, don't forget.
I knew that as a child, though.
It's a little upsetting to watch, honestly, as they crawl out. Like, they're obviously doing the right thing, but it is presented as this kid is in danger and
real peril.
Is doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But it is scary.
It could still go wrong for him.
The fireman runs up and asks Big Bird if anyone is still inside, and he yells, "Everyone's still inside."
No.
Big Bird is very distressed, and by proxy makes the viewer, I think, more stressed out.
Sure.
But we see Maria, Luis, and Gabby make it out. They make a very clear understanding of who lives where. They say Gordon and Susan live on the first floor, Luis and Maria live on the second floor, and Bert and Ernie live in the basement.
Whoa, they say that?
Well, I don't know if they say it explicitly in this, but they've said it in other episodes.
Okay. Because, Maria she's in that corner.
Yeah, she's on the fire escape in one episode.
And that has never occurred to me that is 123 Sesame Street.
That is the side of it. But we learn that Luis and Maria's apartment is safe from any damage, but Gordon and Susan's is not and has a lot of smoke damage, and they had to break a window and a door when the firemen went in to check on things. And so they cannot sleep in their apartment tonight, and they end up having to stay with Luis and Maria for a little bit.
How did the fire start?
We don't know, but it did start in the basement, and the state of Bert and Ernie's apartment is not addressed.
Okay.
The only way that's really addressed is that Big Bird cries out, "What about Ernie and Bert?" And he's really worried.
Forget Ernie and Bert. They're already gone.
Thankfully, that is not the case. He is reminded by, I think, Susan or somebody, Bert and Ernie are on vacation, so they don't need to evacuate. Which,
okay.
is a concept that for some reason was very funny to me watching it, that like Bert and Ernie could go on vacation.
Yeah, they don't have any money.
Yeah, like they're just like off on a cruise or something, and their friends are just living their lives. They're like, oh yeah, of course Bert and Ernie are on vacation. That's a normal thing.
Are occasionally adults and occasionally children, I feel like, are they not?
But they don't make it clear what happened to their apartment. They do say the fire started in the basement, which again is where their apartment is. And if Susan and Gordon's apartment was more damaged because it was above the fire, you would think Bert and Ernie's apartment was pretty rough, but they do not mention it at all.
There's not an episode where they come back from a skit where they come back from vacation and
no.
Bert's bottle cap collection is melted.
No, the only damage that we do directly hear about is Big Bird tells everyone, oh, my baby bird nest was in the basement from when he was a little baby bird at one point.
And they kept it. That's gross.
Yeah. Well, Gordon goes down to find it and brings back a very singed, burned, sad-looking bird nest.
Weird. I feel like they could have come up with something better.
They had to do something I think was actually not too upsetting.
You can lose a bunch of sticks. That's okay.
Yeah, and Big Bird asks Maria and Luis if they could repair it for him because they have the fix-it shop, and they have to tell him that, sorry, Big Bird, it is beyond repair.
What? That seems like a really easy thing to fix. Just get some new sticks for it.
It's not the same. You can't ship of Theseus a bird nest.
I think that that's probably one of the main things you can ship of Theseus. It could have been like his baby blanket or something.
Or a teddy bear or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's got radar.
Right. But you could have lost radar.
That would be too scary.
But let's get into some of the stuff we did watch. First, like Sam said, we watched The Wild Ducky Chase, which is what Sam said there. It's on the tin. It is a VHS that you could buy from Sesame Place. It was one of the things that made me think about how Frank Oz must have puppeteered so many things in his life that he has completely forgotten about.
Yeah, I had that exact same thought where I was just like, this is a complete jerk off for this guy. I'm so sure.
If you asked him about this, he'd be like, I have never heard those words in my life.
I was in a fugue state.
I did a thing like this at Disney in the 90s.
Yeah. I did too. Well, I didn't do it at Disney, but I did it somewhere. I think in Las Vegas or something like that.
There's a thing at Epcot where you would like sit on this like little green screen booth thing, and they would put you into different TV shows. One, you were like on the Tonight Show talking to Jay Leno.
Oh yeah.
And then another one, I think you were sitting on a trash can in the Saved by the Bell high school. But in this, children were picked from the audience to come up and act out things, which is maybe generous. Sorry, kids, to not insult your acting.
Some of them were okay at it. I think there was like one girl in particular was like really bouncing on those rocks and trying her best.
Yeah. But they, clearly this is one person's VHS tape that they uploaded to YouTube that we get to watch. So there's 1,000 versions of this tape out there in the world. And we just got to watch this one.
And we're going to watch all of them.
That's our next podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The Even Wilder Ducky Chase. But it's watching very predictable Bert and Ernie are like, let's go do this thing. And then there's kids sitting there acting like they're kayaking as well.
Yeah, Bert and Ernie are doing stuff a little outside of the realm of what they would usually do as they are kayaking, flying around in like, is it a biplane or something? A helicopter? I don't quite remember. And in a submarine. So
and the way they have to like address that there are kids here is that like, at one point the kid has to open the door for Bert. Mm-hmm. And then when they decide they have to go search for Rubber Ducky, Ernie says, bring that kid who's holding the door too.
Yeah. Bring that kid. To be called that kid as a kid doesn't feel great. I seem to remember. But
yeah, bring that kid. He'll be useful.
They also don't let them be in the submarine. They're swimming next to the submarine.
No. Yeah.
Holding their breath. And maybe like, how are they on the plane? Are they like hanging on a rope or something? They're flying. They're Super Grover flying.
Capes. Yeah, they have capes with Super Grover.
They're being Super Grover. That's right.
Yeah. Most of this is Bert screaming. Very stressful. There's a lot of wild Frank Oz noises if you were to watch this with your eyes closed. There's lots of
it's also somehow incredibly boring.
It is very, very boring. Like interesting technology for the era, but very, very boring to watch. And I'm sure for the people in person doing this weird stuff was a nice interactive thing. But then you'd watch yourself back and be like, ha, I'm with Bert and Ernie. But watching it this much later is not that interesting.
The funnest part was when the kid opened the door and there's
Yeah.
a Muppet behind it. And it's almost like I'd rather, if I was a kid, I think I might not think this as as directly, but I think I would be disappointed in it because I think I'd want to be interacting with the characters like in their normal setting.
Well, and
I think like, oh, now we're whitewater rafting. I'd be like, Bert and Ernie don't whitewater. This is not really what I signed up for.
Well, and I think this comes across from the kid's performance, but you got to imagine this era, pre-internet, kids probably a lot less familiar than green screen than they even are now.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think the idea of what
Right.
this was they would bring up a kid and be like, hey, Tommy, stand here. Okay, now look over there and now open this door. And
Yeah,
Tommy's
this
got no
will
idea
make sense
why
later.
or what is
Right.
happening. But then they edit that into 10 minutes later. Tommy gets to watch himself interact with Bert and he's like, wait a minute, what happened? When did that
Yeah.
happen? And so this is a lot of kids just being told, go jump around over there, act like you're flying and lay down on your stomach.
Lay on your stomach, yeah.
Like they're not seeing any Muppets until the end of this exercise.
Yeah, that's true.
But even Big Bird, I think, looks bored in this.
Yeah, his role is unclear. He's there just
yeah.
because they need to have Big Bird be in there somehow.
And then for it to end with Ernie just being like, oh, yeah, by the way, had it the whole time.
Fuck you, man. I don't often get that mad at her. I mean, Ernie's he's a bad guy, but this is one of his worst things, I'd say.
I bet there's at least one tape out there from the thousands of VHS tapes that ends with the dad saying, are you fucking kidding me?
Bet there's an outtake of Bert saying, are you fucking kidding me?
Fucking rocks in his pocket the whole time. Okay, that's what we're going with. Sure, Jim. But getting into the actual show of Sesame Street, we watched part of the season premiere from November 13th, 1989, where we got to re-meet the entire cast of the show, but also meet Preston, a rabbit.
A rabbit turns out to be a real problem.
Less of a problem than I was afraid he was going to be. Because this episode kicks off with Big Bird and Barkley rolling down the street as we get a nice long jib shot showing off everyone, what they're up to, the layout of the street, and ending on just an interesting looking rabbit who I immediately didn't trust. I don't know why.
Because all these guys have some agenda. They're all up to something.
Well, and this whole thing is a Music Man parody. Like he is dressed like Harold
Yes.
Hill from the Music Man, who is a con artist. So that immediately I was like, okay, he's here to sell us a monorail or some musical instruments or something.
Yeah, he's bad.
But thankfully we don't have to wonder for long who he actually is, because the first thing we hear is Big Bird saying, hey, Bob, do you know who that rabbit is over there? So,
do they do this every time a new guy shows up? I guess they must.
Probably. It's probably like, people who live in a cul-de-sac. If somebody like walks down their cul-de-sac, they're like, who is that?
Who's that? Let's sing a song to him.
We all know who lives in this cul-de-sac, and this guy don't live in our cul-de-sac.
We have a whole song about who lives in the cul-de-sac, and Preston ain't in it.
No, it doesn't rhyme with anything.
It is kind of a cul-de-sac, isn't it? It's kind of it's like a dead-end street, right? Sesame Street?
Well, it's a corner. You turn a corner,
It's a corner
to go past 1, 2, 3, past Hooper's. So that street goes somewhere.
That's right.
And then the street goes the other direction somewhere because they drive in cars in and out of this place.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Well, everyone goes over to introduce themselves by singing Hello, My Name Is, which is a spoof of Iowa Stubborn, the first song from the Music Man.
Oh, I did not know that.
It's like a Sesame Street spoof where it's not a one-to-one Weird Al style thing.
Okay.
But
Just
if you've seen the Music
really
Man enough,
close.
and you understand that this whole concept of man dressed like this showing up to town is a very Music Man scenario, you'd probably be like, oh, it's like Iowa Stubborn.
Just like all the kids in the audience are like, yeah, that's right. This is the Music Man, my favorite.
The Music Man is great. Everyone should watch The Music Man, especially if you're a Gilmore Girls fan, because it was filmed on the same backlot in all the same buildings. And so they're just walking past Luke's and the gazebo and all this stuff. And you're like, hey, I know Stars Hollow.
Also, I'd say especially if you're a Simpsons fan too. I think there's like the obvious monorail part, but I think there's a lot that, I don't know. I don't see this as much, but I feel like a lot of how Springfield operates is based on how that town operates.
Yeah. Music Man, good movie. Watch it. I think it's I'm not going to say everything in it holds up because it's been a while since I watched it, but I think as overall film, I think it's one of those classics that not enough people have seen. Well, we see during this song, for some reason, Preston and Susan dancing very close and very affectionately.
Preston,
I'm not sure.
the
Yeah.
rabbit.
The rabbit.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's
At one
coming
point,
back
they're
to
just
me.
like slow dancing with each other. And it's
Uh-huh.
very interesting because they also make the choice in that moment to make Preston as tall as Susan. So like the puppeteer is like up to the height. And so I think that was what threw me off a little bit more, is that they're like dancing face to face. But yes, Preston is actually performed by Jim Martin and will surprisingly be around for a couple of seasons on Sesame Street.
Oh, okay.
And while he is dressed like Harold Hill, he is not a con man, thankfully. He just wants to give presents, which is a problem in a different way, apparently. He gives like unhelpful, unnecessary, inconvenient presents to people.
I feel like this would be more impactful if it was like they were singing this to like Elmo or something, you know? Like, I like this segment, and it's
Yeah.
nice to meet everybody this way, but it's also like, who the fuck's this guy?
Well, I think that we've seen a handful of those through the years of introducing a character, and I think they're sort of just waiting to see if it works. Like
Yeah,
they're
I
waiting to
suppose.
see, does this connect with people watching? Do we like working with this character? I mean, we have Elmo, who's been around for like 6 seasons, but didn't really take off for the first 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I think it's just waiting to see if Preston the Rabbit has legs and will become the next star of Sesame Street. Spoiler alert, no.
There's also kind of the aspect of it where it's like immediately when they're done singing, he starts being annoying, and they all have to be thinking, oh God, what fresh hell is this? All the humans, at least.
Yeah. Big Bird's also thinking it. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm
Big
already
Bird.
worried about Elmo coming for the throne. I don't want to worry about another thing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Elmo, the next thing we watched was from November 17th, 1989, Elmo's Letter, and we get to meet Mr. Hanford. This is from episode 2620, which is explaining David's absence from the show. It starts off because Elmo gets a letter from David, and this is where we learn that David moved to a farm in the country to help his grandma run the farm. In reality, which we talked about, I believe, in our last Sesame Street episode, Northern Calloway, who played David for all these years, was let go from the show due to his mental health struggles and his behavior both on and off set, which you can read a lot more about in Michael Davis's book Street Gang. But yeah, not long after this actual episode airing, Northern was admitted to a hospital in New York where he was receiving treatment for bipolar disorder. And then on January 9th, 1990, so just a couple of months after this, there was an altercation where he hit a staff member. Police showed up to the hospital, where they would go on to describe him as agitated and troubled. And as he was being subdued, he started having seizures and then dropped to the floor, went into cardiac arrest, and died. And I think we talked about this a lot last time or previous time we talked about Northern Calloway. But a coroner's report listed Calloway's official cause of death as exhaustive psychosis, which is now more commonly called excited delirium syndrome, which is a controversial and largely discredited term often used to describe a state of extreme agitation, superhuman strength, and high pain tolerance, which is disproportionately applied to Black men during police encounters to justify the use of lethal force.
Horrible.
Yeah. And like I said, if you want to read more in-depth things about Northern Calloway, I do believe Michael Davis's book is probably the best place to read about that.
It's like unfortunate that they wrote he went to a farm upstate. I don't like that. I don't think they did it on purpose, but it seems so like it's such an evocative thing to say.
Yeah, and I don't know enough to know how much of a cliche that was at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Like post 90s television, I feel like that was always the joke, was that if someone was
Right.
like, oh yeah, your dog went to live upstate on a farm, that was a euphemism for they died.
Yeah.
So it feels crass now, but I don't know if it would have felt crass then. But it is funny to me that David would only write a letter to Elmo.
His best friend Elmo.
He didn't write to anybody else. He wrote a letter to Elmo and said, hey, make sure to say hi to everyone else on Sesame Street for me. He's known Elmo for like 2 years. He's known everyone else for 20. And he's like, I'll write to the little kid.
Who doesn't maybe necessarily have like a permanent address at this point.
Yeah, or even a basic understanding of human interaction.
Which he doesn't. He proves he does not. Well, he does say hi to everybody. So
Right, but he sees it as when David says, say hi to everyone, he sees it as a mission of, well, I must go say hi to every single person on Sesame Street.
yeah, but David knew what he was doing. He did want him to say hi to everyone, I think.
But we also do get to meet Mr. Hanford, who Gina introduces us to. He bought the store from David before David left, And we see him repairing a broken pipe in the store. And he's the last person that Elmo has to say hi to, which I thought was going to be like a running thing for much longer, as I thought we were going to see a bunch of clips of Elmo having to track down everyone and being
efficient.
Like, Bert and Ernie are on vacation again? I guess I have to go to Acapulco and say hi to him.
Oh, that would be cute.
But yeah, Mr. Hanford, new character. Which the first thing he does is teach us how to properly take a nap in public.
Yeah, outside on a folding chair and make it everybody's problem, sort of.
Yeah, he gets really mad at everyone for like disturbing his slumber.
Yeah.
But he is napping on a folding chair in the middle of the busiest, noisiest street in America.
Full of the most annoying guys that you could
And
possibly
giant elephants.
ever. And he's also like, hey, Gina, be sure you wake me up.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of affection immediately for Mr. Hanford.
He is like, I do because I feel like my dad would do this. Where he would take a nap outside. He'd be mad at everybody for disturbing his nap. And he would say, come wake me up in an hour. I'm not going to make much of an effort to wake myself up. But it's vital that I wake up too.
And I'll be extremely mad at you if you don't wake me up.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll get to see much of Leonard Jackson, who plays Mr. Hanford, because he's only around for a year before being replaced by David L. Smurl, who
in
will
the
go
same
on to
role, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Still be Mr. Hanford from 1990 to 1998. David L. Smurl will be playing the role. But in this season, they do a lot of talking about Mr. Hanford also being a former fireman, which is why some of the fire lessons are taught and why Miles knows how to go under the smoke when their house catches on fire.
Thank you, Mr. Hanford. I do like that wrinkle to him. I think him being an ex-firefighter is fun.
I also like that Snuffy calls him Mr. Handfoot.
I do too. The bizarro Mr. Hooper relationship with Snuffy is funny.
You just reminded me, I don't know why Sesame Street decided to do this, but the week as we're recording this, they put out an Instagram video of Big Bird just recording a video for Mr. Hooper.
Oh.
And just like saying how much he misses him and how he's tried to make him proud by what he's done with his life. And it's like the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Is it an anniversary of...
I don't know. I watched it and just got sad, and it's sweet, but dear God, Sesame Street, what are you doing to me?
Don't remind us that Big Bird's still dwelling on this and will be for all of eternity.
I mean, maybe he's sort of handling it in a healthy way. Like he basically wrote Mr. Hooper a letter.
Yeah, sure.
And was like reading it to him. But oh boy, I was not like, there's a lot of quirky, fun Sesame Street clips that pop up on your timeline when you're scrolling. And I was like, aha, what's this one? And it was Big Bird talking to his dead friend.
How old is Big Bird as a character?
6.5, I believe.
But how old is he and how old's the puppet?
Oh, I mean, 1969. So that old. 57.
How old was Will Lee when he died?
Will Lee? Pretty old.
74. Okay. So Big Bird's got a little ways to go, but someday he'll be older than Mr. Hooper was when he died.
Oh, I was like, are you saying that Big Bird's going to die when he hits like 74? That there's going to be yeah, maybe it's time for Big Bird to die. Maybe that'll be a really touching episode of Sesame Street in the future. Well, we watched some things this week that were just sort of brief, hey, this happened, that is interesting sort of thing. Especially when they're things that probably would not happen in the current Netflix era of Sesame Street. And one of those things is from episode 2622 from November 21st, 1989, which is a scene of Maria breastfeeding Gina. But they're, they don't shy away from it. They're very clearly saying that like, yeah, I make the food for my baby. Like, I'm very happy to be doing that. And this actually isn't even the first time they've done this on Sesame Street. Back in 1977, they had Buffy St. Marie breastfeeding her son on Sesame Street. And I think Big Bird is the one to be like, hey, what's going on? And for something completely different, we get some Twiddlebugs who on December 18th, 1989 in episode 2641 are going to the beach. But they didn't bring enough umbrellas.
And the dad isn't going to share his umbrella. He's going to leave his family hanging out to dry.
No, he doesn't bring enough umbrellas. He's also going to nap and yell at people for not waking him up. He's a dad.
Oh, yeah. Dads are bad news. That's what we're learning this episode.
Twiddle Daughter suggests cooperating and sharing the umbrella. It just kind of keeps going, and then they're not sure where the ocean is, which I thought would pull out to reveal that they were like on Bob's arm or something. Like their beach vacation was like a weird place. Yeah, they live in like a little flower pot thing.
Yeah,
remember?
they're really small. Yeah, they're bug sized. Yeah, they're on the toilet or something. I don't think they should swim in the ocean either. I'm pretty sure they will be eaten by a fish.
Ooh.
I was nervous about them not doing that.
I mean, some bugs got to live in the water, and they don't all get eaten. So you could lose a twiddle daughter or two.
That's true. How many? This isn't a question for now. How many of the things? How many things get eaten? Like how many?
What?
How many of like prey animals get eaten percentage wise?
That's a Hank Green question, and he ain't here this week.
Okay,
So,
I'll call him up later and ask him.
Be like, how many things get eaten, and then just hang up.
Yeah, and then that'll give him a couple months worth of content probably.
But you're traditionally not a fan of the twiddle bugs.
I didn't mind them so bad this time. I don't know why. I'm not traditionally not a fan of the twiddle bugs. Is right. I think there was something about the dad being so like tough shit family.
Mm-hmm.
You're baking in the sun. That was kind of interesting to me. But no, I find them sort of annoying. I don't really get it. I don't know why they're bugs that talk like aliens. I think is the confusing.
I think when you're making 1,000 episodes of a TV show, something's got to do something.
You gotta
Sam.
do something. Something. It's gotta. This bug's gotta talk like something. Might as well talk like an alien. Yeah.
But monkeys at typewriters. Eventually, you're gonna end on alien talking bugs.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of monkeys, one thing I really liked about when Elmo was saying hi to everybody, when he would walk around, the way that his feet slapped, you could hear like his feet go.
Yeah.
Sounded like a little monkey walking around. And I was like, that's really charming. I actually would like to hear Elmo walk up to me making those little, like how fast his feet must be going to make that sound.
The part about that that's upsetting to me is that realizing that he must have foot pads.
Yes, he's got to have naked. The bottoms of his feet are certainly nude.
Yeah, like all Muppet monsters must have foot pads, like leathery, rubbery foot pads underneath their fur.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me so much because I could picture just like a little bit of red leather filling that role, and that's okay. But it probably feels just like a dog's, like rough. You think his nose is probably wet too.
I guess I don't like thinking about what their footprints would look like.
Oh, yeah, just like kind of human footprints, probably. Yeah, I don't know.
There you go.
You get too far
like,
into the gray
wait, who was
area
here? And
of,
it's like, I think that might have been Elmo. Like, I'm not. That can't be Elmo, right?
Or like when you see Sonic the Hedgehog with his shoes off and he's just got human feet, and it's kind of like, wow.
Is that true, or
I
is that
don't
like a
know
deviant art thing?
No, there have been times he's had his shoes off in real art for
Okay.
different things, and it's kind of
Man,
like, I don't know what I
shouldn't have Googled
expected it to
that.
be,
Yeah,
but
man,
I don't like that that's what it is. He doesn't have toenails, but
I'm sad though because I googled Sonic Hedgehog feet.
well, what would you want it to be, Matt?
Not sexily posed photos of Sonic wearing dirty socks.
Oh, you know what? There is an official art of Tails with no shoes on, where he just has kind of blobs.
I'm
not sure.
I think he's all pretty bad.
I think officially
like
they just have blobs and no toes because they know that they can't trust their fans to show toes.
I think there's an animated Sonic I'm seeing that has some naked human feet.
Yeah, it's unclear what his feet look like, I think, frankly. But I'm pretty sure in the movie he doesn't have shoes on for a second.
Ugh.
And
Okay.
does anyway.
We've talked too much about Sonic's feet. Our
Well,
SEO is screwed.
Elmo has little toes as well.
Not naked human feet, but like more like Chewbacca feet.
More like Chewbacca feet, yeah.
Well, as Sam said, we get a bunch of Jim Henson characters this week because it is a celebration of Jim Henson's last season here. And so on Christmas Day, 1989, episode 2646 aired, featuring Guy Smiley. Audience Lunch is what this sketch is called. And it's Guy Smiley wanted to take his studio audience out to lunch, but not planning ahead.
No, well, he got excited. He's an excited guy. I could see him do. Yeah, it's like an Oprah thing where it's like, and everybody in the audience, I'm bringing you out to lunch. Yeah, and then showing up at this fancy restaurant. It felt. I loved this because it felt very. This felt kind of Simpsons-y to me. This felt like something that like Troy McClure. Troy McClure would bring all of his fans to lunch.
Well, I think getting to see some of the real guy behind Guy is interesting.
Yeah, that too. I thought that was good. He seems like a nice guy.
But we see a very good French maitre d' who greets Guy Smiley. He needs to know how many there are, which seems to be the lesson, I guess, we're getting here is too many or not enough. Sort of. This is one of those, like, I think what we're teaching here is fun and not necessarily how to count to 40. But they do have space somehow in this restaurant.
Yeah, he's like, we might not have enough room for everybody, but I think we do. How would you not know if you had room for 40 people?
Well, they don't, Sam. They have space for 39, which is even stranger that you would have space for an odd number of people, but not one more.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine you've already pulled up a lot of chairs.
Oh, it could be a fire, there could be, the fire marshal has said no more people
Maybe.
in here. Yeah. So, but I think it's noted somewhere that these weren't necessarily the last times he performed these characters.
I don't know if we have information on the exact days that all of these were recorded or which was the last time he recorded Guy Smiley, but after November of 1989, he didn't record anything else. So if this came out December of 1989, it was recorded a bit before that probably.
I feel like Guy Smiley really went out on a high note too, because the couple things we watched here with him there's one in particular that we'll watch way later that I really loved. But I mean, it kind of is a little sad that Guy Smiley didn't get to stick around and be there. I feel like he was really starting to feel himself at this point.
Yeah, I feel like him and Ernie both have a good batch of things that we watched this time. I feel like Kermit, on the other hand, goes the other way.
He's a little generic.
But we do have an Ernie and Bert sketch to talk about next from December 29th, 1989, from episode 2650. It's time to play a game about opposites. We learn that heavy and light are two of their favorite opposites, which having favorite opposites is a very Sesame Street thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, Ernie's game involves Bert going into different rooms and carrying heavy things out while Ernie shows off light things. So Bert is like, hey, I got a barbell. Ernie says, hey, I got a feather. Bert is kind of obsessed with just the idea of like, did I do it? Did I win? I got a heavier thing. And Ernie's like, no. There's more to this. Please bring in that rock for me.
It's not this one, but I'm pretty sure we watch a skit later, which feels sort of like the final Bert and Ernie skit.
It is a
Bert
nice, yes.
Bert is like, every time we play a game like this, you are fucking with me.
Yeah, Bert finally sees through his shit.
Yeah, you never let me win. But yeah, this feels like the last straw because it's like, I drug a piano in here, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Yeah. What's the point of all of this? What is my life?
After Bert comes in the boulder, then there's one more part where Bert does need to bring in the piano. Ernie shows off cotton candy and how light that is. Bert comes in carrying the piano on his back, which was like an impressive puppeteering feat.
There's really no punchline to this exactly. He's just like smashes the piano on the ground.
Another puppeteering thing I liked is that when he drops the barbell at the beginning, it keeps like sort of being a problem. Like they reference that it like hit the floor. And then when he brings in the piano, he like trips or whatever. He says, oh, that darn barbell's in the way.
Yeah, they step over it a couple times and they're like, hey, watch out for that.
And so pretending that there is a floor, well, obviously there is nothing for there to be at their feet. They didn't have feet. I think they did a good job selling that in this.
Yeah, I think that you're right. It is really like two guys at the top of their game for sure.
I was also kind of surprised that we hear the word darn a couple of times this week. And I feel like it's not a swear, obviously, but later on we are like taught the phrase darn it.
Oh, and I feel like that.
That's from the Wando Falbo word fairy.
Oh, yes, right.
And like I feel like having Bert say, oh, that darn barbell's in the way is one thing, but then to like be teaching kids to say darn it, feels like a thing that would have pissed off some parents.
It's a gateway word to swearing.
Yeah. You're like 5 minutes away from dang.
Oh yeah. Dang is 100% worse than darn, and then damn.
Yeah.
Oof.
You can't say damn. But yeah, this pretty much ends with Bert saying, I don't know what this game is, but I can't do it anymore. Drops the piano, and then Ernie asks if the piano is all right.
What a grim thing to say.
Well, I think you're right that was the straw that broke the Bert's back.
Yeah.
And the next one is the fallout.
Time he's like, I can't do this I can't with you anymore. Then
from December 29th, 1989, we get Heart of a Frog from episode 2650. Kermit's getting a checkup at the doctor. Pretty much just teaching us about stethoscopes and listening to Kermit's heart.
The doctor is a frog too, right?
But I don't think so. I think he's just a guy.
He kind of looks like a frog.
He's green. He could be a frog.
He doesn't have a nose.
Right. I think plenty of Muppets don't have
you know
noses.
what? I don't think he is a frog. He's got that hair. No, the nurses are definitely frogs. He's at the frog doctor.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I go to a human doctor.
That's just a really good point. Dogs don't go to dog doctors, though.
It's only because they won't let them go to medical school. The man's keeping them down. But you're right. I think that could be an old man frog.
This one feels like a stretch to me. I don't know what we're supposed to be learning here.
Well, yeah, because basically we hear a song that just says like, "Oh baby, baby, listen to the heart of a frog."
Yeah, which the frog doctor describes the sound of Kermit's heart as groovy, and then they start singing this song.
But the least groovy thing in this is Kermit. Like Kermit doesn't really do anything in this other than sit there on the table. And so I feel like it's interesting when you only have, a week of Jim Henson a year to make something.
He is not the lead singer of the song.
No. So to use Jim and Kermit in such a small role is kind of an interesting choice to me.
And like a song about the heartbeat is something, but this is so specifically about the heart of a frog, which makes you think that there's something special about a frog's heart, which I don't think there is.
If there is, they didn't teach us. Speaking of teaching, January 5th, 1990, we meet Wando Falbo Word Fairy from episode 2655, which is a previously existing character from SCTV, played by Andrea Martin. And she's going to show us how to use a payphone and also teach us words like telephone, dial, stuck, and darn it.
Love the concept of teaching you how to use a payphone. They couldn't know how silly that would be in the future.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a useful skill at the moment, but I found it interesting that a little behind the curtain, Shane included this one specifically for you, Sam.
Yeah, an SCTV character for me, which is interesting because I never really watched SCTV. Which
I think you've talked about your affinity for some of these characters and the show in the past when we've talked about John Candy.
Gosh, who was that Martin Short character with the crazy hair?
He had a show, a cartoon. He was
not Edward Norton.
Nope, but it's kind of like Edward Norton.
But it is Ed Grimley.
Ed Grimley.
Is Ed Grimley, isn't it? And I love Ed Grimley. I think Ed Grimley's so funny. And I watched a couple Wanda Falbo skits. She's Mrs. Falbo in SCTV, and not a fairy, but is a children's show host. And they're pretty funny. I liked it. It's like, they're kind of the classic like dirty children's show host, except she's like very pure and innocent, and John Candy is kind of like her sidekick, who's like a dirtbag sort of. And then they go to crazy places like prison and stuff to show children prison. Not really like, I don't know, such an odd character too. I wonder how stuff like this happened, I guess, is what mostly I'm wondering.
I feel like they've had so many of the SCTV cast on the show that
That's true.
It just feels like they must be friends with them.
Maybe even writers in common or something like
Maybe.
that. Maybe.
But yeah, there's other sketches where she does get to interact with Muppets. Like she gets to hang out with Barkley at least.
Oh, I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I think she's really fun. I think she is a good character for this show. A very good Muppet character also, just like you're not doing it right, but you're trying your best.
According to Muppet Wiki, all 4 of her sketches that she did were filmed on the same day, June 8th, 1989, shot in New York City. And they were written by Tony Geiss and directed by Ted May. So just it seemed like a little fun collab.
They maybe just were fans.
Then Barbara Bush is here on January 12th, 1990, episode 2660. One of the first, if not the first ladies to visit Sesame Street. Unfortunately, this was one of those another instances of famous people aging differently these days because Barbara Bush is 64 in this clip.
Wow.
You want to know who else is 64, Sam?
Who?
Jim Carrey.
Oh, well.
And I'd like to see Barbara Bush do the Robotnik dance.
I would love to see that. Yeah, she looks ancient in this.
But Barbara is here to read Peter's Chair to some kids. Not a coincidence. It's because she founded the Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy in October of 1989. Also, the Count is here. But mostly, this is just Barbara Bush reading a book to us while the Count waits surprisingly patiently.
Yeah, he says he's going to count every page as she goes, but he's counting them in his head, which is
not a thing
unheard of for the Count.
I didn't know he was capable.
He's respecting the office of the president.
I think he does
lady.
It does feel like that a little bit, where he's like, "Well, I couldn't interrupt her."
He's a Republican voter for sure. He's so old. He has to be a Republican voter.
And he started counting the taxes that the Democrats were taking away from him, and he's like, "Oh no, one too many.
Oh,
you pushed me over the edge."
He's the facts don't care about your feelings kind of guy because numbers are the ultimate fact.
Yeah. Numbers are the only thing that matter to the Count when it
Yep.
comes to earning his vote.
He's rich too. He's got a castle.
He's got a
in-
castle.
in Manhattan. A
I
guy
don't
with a castle in
imagine
Manhattan.
in Central Park. Like,
Yep.
we're talking real estate. Like, that
Yeah.
is prime real estate. You have a super rich old guy living in Manhattan in Central Park. That guy's probably voting red.
Yep, he's friends with the Trump family and has been since
Oh,
you
yeah.
know before anybody immigrated to America, because he's like 1 billion years old. He does not like Mom Donnie. I'm really sorry to say.
We get some more Guy Smiley from January 15th, 1990. Another Here Is Your Life segment, something we've seen before. This one is to surprise a carton of eggs. This is a little weird.
I kind of hated this
Why?
because I hated that the chicken mom was saying my babies to the
Yes.
eggs.
I
They're
hated that they
not-
called the chicken mommy.
Yeah, that was not good for me.
There's also an ear of corn that shows up and is like, you couldn't do it without me.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, I guess
explain
so.
further, corn.
Yeah, you weren't the one eaten, presumably. You're still here. So it was like a different ear of corn got eaten by this chicken to make
Or
baby eggs.
Corny the corn can regrow his corn after being eaten. He's an infinite corn.
But then we also see the farmer and the sun and the cloud who has like a super deep, cool voice for some
Oh,
reason.
the cloud and the sun. The cloud puppet especially was really cool, I thought.
Yeah.
Big fluffy guy. But the carton of eggs saying, Mommy, we love you.
Yeah.
That's like body horror stuff if you think about it too hard.
An upsetting concept, to be sure. We watched a thing called Cave Person Days from January 23rd, 1990.
Woke name, right? Cave
Because it says cave person, not
days.
caveman.
Yeah. That kind of surprised me actually that they said that.
It does feel like, not what I would have guessed they were doing in the 80s. Oh, I guess this was 1990 though, so the progressive 90s are
we're
here,
woke.
Sam.
We're woke, yes.
We're
that's
woke
right.
now. The Count is pissed.
We're being PC.
But yeah, this is a young cave boy, played by Ernie, who liked playing drums so much, but his cave dad, Bert, had to remind him to stop drumming and take out the trash. But it takes a couple of hours for some reason to take the piece of paper all the
He's
way to
gotta
the garbage
drag
dump.
it all the way to the dump, yeah.
But then
Then he gets back and he's got to bring another piece of trash all the way over there.
I will say an upsetting piece of trash.
Oh, the dinosaur juice box thing?
An empty dinosaur juice container.
Yeah. Why is that upsetting? Because it would be maybe a real dinosaur that he drank the guts out of?
Yeah, well, what's a dinosaur juice container? What's
I don't
dinosaur
know. What is
juice?
dinosaur juice? The container looked badass, but what is it? I guess I never considered that it could have been a real dinosaur with juice inside that was drank. He's
Yeah,
dead.
Presumably.
I
Or it's
suppose you're
milk
right.
of a dinosaur or something like. I don't know if it's juice he can give freely.
The milk
to be
of the
drunk.
dinosaur. The milk
Don't
of the dinosaur.
Google the milk of the dinosaur.
I'm not. I'm just thinking about
Okay.
that phrase. It's beautiful. It's a cellar door kind of thing.
I picture the
Um,
scene from Last Jedi where Luke walks up to that big thing and, like
milks
squeezes
the
it.
blue guy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm picturing dinosaur juice is.
There's a really fun thing that happens when Bert goes to throw, or when Ernie goes to throw the trash away, where it cuts to a sundial doing the
Mhm.
that made
The
me laugh
passage of
really loud.
time.
One thing I like this season, I thought was really funny, and maybe they are all
Yeah.
really funny, but there's a lot of stuff here that was cracking me up.
I mean, that's usually the thing that we find with Sesame Street is that it is
Yeah.
funnier than most other Muppet things that we watch.
Yeah, especially these days where everything else is a bit diminished.
Well, this ends up with Ernie, the cave boy, wishing someone would invent something so that he wouldn't have to make so many trips to the dump. And so his dad, who's fed up with him drumming so much, says, "Turn that drum upside down so you stop drumming."
Yeah,
And
classic
Ernie's
drummer's
like,
punishment.
"Whoa, this drum upside down, I could put trash in here."
I can put trash in it. You're inventing the trash can and not having a caveman Oscar the Grouch in your thing. I think that's silly.
But it's all redeemed because at the end, Jim, as Ernie, gets to say, "Hang loose, dude, because I'm going to wail."
Yes, he does. Jim's cool.
Then on February 8th, 1990, we have the song "I Wonder About the World Above." This is from Jim's last day in the studio, and it's freaking weird.
It is weird. Kermit hangs out with a lot of random kids these days, I feel like.
It's just some random people in Kermit hanging out in a park when one says, "Boy, Kermit, I just love to see all the wonderful things below us."
They love the ground, and Kermit says, "You know what, actually, kids? Fuck the ground." You know what's really cool?
Yeah.
This guy. The ground, that's not cool.
Yeah, there's
The
a very
sky.
Gobo-voiced Jerry Nelson character who's like, look at this beautiful flower. And Kermit's like, look up, dummy.
You idiot.
He actually says, see that yellow circle? That's the sun.
Kermit's being mean today.
Or raises questions about what that guy knows and doesn't know about the world.
I think Kermit's being condescending.
Yeah. He's a touch grass kind of guy. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, you smell that? That's fresh air. Put down your video games and go outside.
Yeah. And he's also like, the clouds are cool, the sun is cool. Then you can feel him be like, fuck, I'm out of stuff in the sky that's cool. How about that squirrel?
Man, I would fucking kill for a plane right now. Come on.
There's
Come
an
on.
argument. There's an argument to be made that the squirrel and the tree are on the ground, I would say, but I'm not going to argue with Kermit.
Yeah.
He's in one of his moods.
I think no shade to Donald Allen Siegel, who wrote this song, but this song doesn't quite have that Joe Raposo, Jeff Moss magic where
No.
a Sesame Street song can make me feel like I'm having an existential crisis.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like it could have gotten there in the hands of a different writer.
Especially singing about something so magical that you
Right.
see every day and not take for granted that you can look up at the sky whenever you want to. But
It's
the
like
framing
the
is
worst,
weird and-
I don't want to live on the moon.
yeah.
Like,
that's
I don't
true.
want to live on the moon is a classic and does make you have an existential crisis about your life.
I don't want to live on the ground. It sucks. That's what this song is.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite the same ring to it. Well, speaking of the ground, we have another sketch from Jim's Last Day. From this one aired on February 9th, 1990, called Don't Throw That Trash on the Ground. This one is about Ernie hanging out with some randos
Some
at the park.
randos. Ernie's got other friends. That's interesting.
You know what I think this is?
What?
I think Jim was hanging out with some randos at the park, and he had Ernie on one arm and Kermit on the other, and they were like, all right, take two. Let's do the trash one.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, Ernie's like friends with like two old ladies and a punk kid.
Yeah.
Very odd.
But it's kind of a fun song, though. It's about Ernie and his friends hanging out in the park eating ice cream, and now they're not sure what to do with their trash.
They look everywhere for hours for a trash
That's
can.
concerning.
That's a problem with New York City infrastructure, I would say. That's not
Yeah.
really Ernie's fault.
The Count voted against it.
Yeah, no trash cans.
Zero trash cans. They're too ugly. Thankfully, they end up finding one about 5 feet away. I mean, wasn't there a thing where they just introduced trash cans to New York for the first time?
Yeah. Rat-proof trash cans.
Yeah.
You'd think they would have had that for a little bit longer, maybe, but
Well, if I'm
know.
understanding, the idea was that they were putting out trash cans because some parts of New York, you could still just leave your trash bags on the
Yes.
sidewalk.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that is the thing anymore, but it was a thing like a year ago.
Yeah. And so they were like, well, maybe rats wouldn't get it if we put it in a can. And people got pissed.
They're doing things. People got pissed is the weird part of that story that I don't know everything about, but I do know.
Yeah, I'm
that
sure there's a
people
good
got
reason that some
pissed.
people got pissed, but it is also funny to hear that people got pissed because they were like, what if you put your trash in a can? Ernie figured it out in 1989.
Yeah. What are you? Are you a bunch of rats in a suit?
Maybe that's why Oscar was even a weirder character. Everyone's like, a trash can? Nobody has
Yeah.
those.
Exotic.
We get a sketch called Air with Guy Smiley that aired on February 13th, 1990 in episode 2682. We start off unassumingly in a barber shop where a barber asks some guy, how short would you like me to cut your hair? And we get Guy Smiley Kool-Aid Manning through the wall yelling,
Something he's
did
never
somebody say
done before."
air?
Why is he doing this?
You know, I didn't ask that question while watching it, and now I don't know the answer. Because he just burst through the wall yelling, did somebody say air? Because he has a song prepared about air and seems to love air. And that's kind of the only reason.
He's rich. He's an eccentric rich guy. He can do whatever he wants. I loved this. I thought this was great.
Yeah, because he does leave after his song, but then the barber makes the mistake of saying, just lean back in the chair. And so Guy Smiley runs in once again, singing about air. And after he leaves again, the guy in the chair says, does that happen often? And the barber says, no, actually, it's exceedingly rare. And we know what's coming. The show knows we know what's coming. And so they
They don't show us
politely
again.
just Cut to black.
Yeah, this is the rest of this guy's life, but it doesn't have to be the rest of our life. But Guy is really channeling the like pitch man from that CBS Muppet Show pitch in this one.
Yes.
Like I never quite put that together for some reason.
Sal.
Yeah, that this is the same person basically.
Yeah. Next up in the order is the full episode that we watched this week, which was episode 2687 from February 20th, 1990, Bob's Brother Visits, which I was not prepared for mentally.
No, it's a fever dream.
Yeah, the episode opens up with Big Bird welcoming us to Sesame Street, but he is interrupted by John Williams-like music as a man dressed as Indiana Jones, but looking an awful lot like Jeff Goldblum with a ponytail, swings
He does
in
have a ponytail
and asks Big Bird if he knows where Bob is.
This feels like Jeff Goldblum's idea to me. And I'm sure it wasn't, but it feels like
hey,
it
we'd
was.
love to have you on Sesame Street, Jeff. He's like, great, I'll play Indiana Jones. You're like, why? He's like, I just always wanted to play Indiana Jones. You're like, okay, I guess we'll figure out something.
And I want to be Bob's brother. Don't ask me why about that one.
Yeah, this is Bob's brother, Minneapolis. It's kind of like Indiana. Really, this is used as a vehicle to teach the difference of like, hey, people can be siblings and still be very different, because Big Bird is like, I can't believe you two are brothers.
Well, I like that part because he's like, you guys don't even really look alike. They're like, shut up.
There's also a 20-year difference between these men, so I'm not sure which one was either born late in their parents' life or early. If like, Bob had a very young set of parents.
Right, and they wouldn't have really grown up with each other in an appreciable way. But they're very close.
Bob would have been
close.
Off being a star in Japan by the time his brother was born.
Yeah, that I did think about that too, where he's like, Bob hates adventuring. And it's like, Bob probably of any of the cast members is gallivanting around Earth the most.
But we learned that Minneapolis is working on a job nearby and wants to know if he can stay with Bob for a while. I also like that he's a little bit of a freeloading brother.
I like that too. But then I also like that he finishes his job that night and doesn't actually even have to spend one single evening with Bob.
Largely due to luck, just because of the Snuffleupagus happened to be nearby.
Whose house had the magic artifact he was looking for in it. Yeah.
I will say, though, I loved it. I love this whole episode. I love Jeff
too.
Goldblum. It's a lot of fun. I love the Snuffertiti stuff because it makes you ask a lot of questions about the lore and history of Sesame Street.
Where was this taking place? Was this in ancient New York City?
Right, or ancient Egypt. Like, where was this? There's also a running gag through this where Minneapolis can't really sit still. Like, he just keeps jumping off of things or swinging on tire swings. And Big Bird asks Bob, does he always run around like that? And Bob says, yes, he does, Big Bird. He was a very active child.
Yes, Bob. I love Bob. He's such on the edge of being an actual human being and being a Muppet in the way that the rest of the characters aren't. Like, his life is silly in a way that I feel like nobody else's life is silly. He's
often the one dressing up in weird costumes or going to Grouchy Town and all these things. And gotta love Bob. We get a Bert and Ernie sketch in this episode. It's originally from episode 2675, but I don't believe we've seen this one before.
He didn't look familiar to me.
Because this is the one where Bert finally sees through Ernie's shit and says, I'm not playing these dumbass games with you anymore. Because Ernie comes home to find Bert counting his paper clips. Ernie says, hey, I got an opposite game to play. And so this is the time when Bert says, personally, I like opposites, but I do not want to play your game. And he says, every time you have a game you want to play, I never get to play. And just when I start to play, you stop playing. And he's proven right, obviously. Of course, that's what happens.
Yeah. It does act as like the series finale of, like, you could put it at the end of Bert and Ernie now. It would be like, this is the last Bert and Ernie. At the end of this, Bert moved out.
So Minneapolis unpacks his archaeologist tools. And Bob sings, an archaeologist is a person in your neighborhood.
I like that too. I loved the like fourth wall kind of like, this is just how people, and I love when they do things where it's like, this is just how it works on Sesame Street. You learn about a new job, you're going to have to sing this song.
Well, and there's a couple things I love about this. One, they have the running gag of Big Bird asking him, did he always like to sing? And he said, yeah, he was a real noisy kid. But also, there's a very cute, I think, improvised moment from Jeff Goldblum in this. He's taking out all these artifacts and things and showing off what he's found in his travels. And he has a teddy bear that he pulls out. And so Big Bird sees that and he's like assuming it must be old, but really it just turns out to be Minneapolis's. And so he's like cuddling it. And there's like a long moment of him just like squeezing this teddy bear. And Jeff Goldblum just goes, "Sing, Bob."
Yeah, I love that.
Like, felt like Jeff was like, I can't keep hugging this teddy bear for this long. Somebody please do something. You know what the weirdest thing about Jeff Goldblum is to me?
What?
The fact that he plays a character in those Apartments.com commercials.
Oh, instead of just himself?
Yeah. Why does he need to be Brad Bellflower?
I don't know.
Nobody gives a shit about Brad Bellflower, the
That's a
Apartments.com
really
guy.
question.
That's Jeff Goldblum, and we all know it.
You know, one of the weirdest we shouldn't get onto this right now. One of the weirdest things in modern culture to me is that we have characters like the Flo, who've been around for so long, and we have commercials that reference other commercials, earlier commercials, just like they expect us to watch every commercial. But then at the same time, it is like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, I've seen that. How do we see every commercial? And why do they know that we've seen every commercial to the point where they can reference other commercials and have characters around for like the Toyota lady's been around for like 15 years at this point.
Yeah, the idea that Stephanie Courtney has been playing Flo for 18 years at this point.
She like left Mad Men to go be Flo. What the hell?
I mean,
it was the
Flo's
right choice.
Still around.
Obviously.
Mad Men
Yeah.
isn't.
Her character would not have lasted on Mad Men, so she did the right thing. But now she's got a bunch of friends, and when they were introduced like 5 years ago, it was like, oh, they're phasing out Flo, but they weren't phasing out Flo. They just needed
maybe they
more
were trying
Flos.
to, and people were like, "Don't phase out Flo. I see
or
what you're doing."
Or Flo is like, over my dead fucking body.
Yeah, they're gonna
I'm
start to
not
slowly
going
disappear
anywhere.
one by one. We're like, wait a minute, where'd Jimmy or whoever go?
Yeah, and sometimes you're like, is this like, you watch a commercial, you're like, is this one of Flo's, has this always been one of Flo's friends, or is this a new friend for Flo? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no, I don't remember those other people at all. There's like the one everyone hates. I remember that guy.
Jamie. I think his name's Jamie.
Jamie, that's right.
Yeah. See, I know all this stuff, but I don't know why. I never watch TV. I don't know why I know this. Okay. Anyway, Brad Bellflower.
And they did give him a partner recently. I feel like Heidi Gardner from SNL, I think, was
He
another
has a friend now,
Apartments.com
too.
person.
Yep, he's got a friend as well.
All right. Well, clearly it's working because we're talking about it and giving them free advertising.
Unless there was an ad, there could have, you know what? It's entirely possible that you heard an Apartments.com ad before you started this episode. Because I do think that there are podcast ads for it too. So we're giving them free advertising as well.
Well, we also got to rewatch the Cookie Monster Healthy Food Rap, which is just a fantastic song from season 19.
It really is very good. Muppets rapping is not always embarrassing. Sometimes it works really well.
Something that I'm sure I mentioned last time, him mentioning eating fish still bothers me because I just picture him in Gollum, Lord of the Rings world, just snarfing down on things and just, ugh.
He shouldn't eat stuff with bones.
No. And I just feel like he's eating it raw. Like, that is my impression.
Yeah, he's eating a whole raw chicken. He's eating a whole raw turkey. He's eating raw. He's not going to wait for you to cook this stuff. He doesn't need to. He's got a gallbladder or whatever animals have that let them eat.
We have
raw meat.
gallbladders.
I don't know if ours work though, Matt. I don't know. Okay.
Well, moving on to something we do know, the history of Snuffertiti.
Now we do. Now
because
we know.
Minneapolis meets Snuffy, and he's fully aware of this species, and says,
but not aware enough to know that there was one here who lived, the only one here who lived in the
most
only
of these
cave.
people didn't know he was there until like a year ago.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
But he says that this makes his quest even more important because he was on the quest for the golden cabbage of Snuffertiti. And we learn all about Snuffertiti, who apparently ruled, somewhere, sometime in the past. I'm not sure if this was alongside Nefertiti or
instead
in place
of in
of
this
yeah.
universe. Yeah. I mean, humans were ruled by Snuffleupagus seems to be the implication to me.
Yes. I imagine Bob was a slave in this.
Yeah.
The queen of all Snuffleupaguses seemed to be in charge of the humans and was trying to find the Snuffleupagus' favorite food, which needed to be round, green, and leafy. Luis brings in an apple, which is two of those things. Gordon brings in a tree, which is two of those things, but different.
Different, yeah.
And Bob overacts like hell as he
Because the whole time
cabbage.
he's got the cabbage in his hand. He's like, please don't stomp on my head. Just look at this cabbage.
Which is the punishment of the era.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be. Bob has seen people's heads get stomped on. You can tell.
Like watermelons, just
Yeah, exactly. Have Snuffy's liked cabbages before? Is this a pre-established thing?
I don't know. Not that I remember. But in this world, cabbages become so popular that they make the golden cabbage to honor the Snuffleupagus' favorite food. And they hid it in a cave, and it turns out that Snuffy's cave is the only cave around these parts.
Oh, Snuffy's favorite food has been established to be cabbage forever.
All right.
Since
That makes sense.
episode 731.
All right.
So what year was that? 1975.
So it just took 14 years for us to learn why. But then Minneapolis, Big Bird, and Snuffy, and Bob venture deep into Snuffy's cave, which is much more creepy than previously presented to us.
Have we seen it before? Yeah.
I think we just saw it like the door where like his parents and Alice were hanging out or something. But we've definitely not ventured this deep into it in anything we've watched.
Yeah, he lives in a scary, deep, dark cave.
But to be fair, it doesn't seem like he has ever gone beyond.
He doesn't know this part. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Because Minneapolis has a map of the cave. They find a big letter Q on the wall, which, I'm not sure what the Q is for. I don't know if they ever say other than just like there's a Q on the map, so that means that's where it is.
I guess today's episode was probably brought to you by the letter Q, perhaps.
Yeah, you're right. But before we find out what's behind that Q, we get to see Fay Ray the dog dressed up as different animals.
We're getting these Weimaraners. They don't have human hands yet, do they?
Not this one. This one is a dog, but just like Kermit, because it's Kermit the dog. And I love it so much.
That was really cute.
My favorite is that they like dress this dog up and these kids are trying to guess what animal it is. And they're like, it's a moose. It's a yak. I think it's a moose. And they don't ever tell us what's right.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They just move on.
There was some that were kind of bad, too. I didn't really know what some of them were.
Well, the second one, they guess a zebra with chicken pox or a ladybug because it's like a black blanket with white dots and a red beak or something.
I thought it was like a chicken.
Yeah.
But...
And the last one is Kermit the dog, which is one of my favorite things I've ever seen. We get a Cereal Girl Material World parody, which is a little girl monster who has never tried cereal in her life.
And she freaking loves it.
Of course. What's not to love?
Yeah, I love cereal too. This is one of those magical Sesame Street things, which is like, how is this not Material Girl? My brain can't wrap my head around how it isn't, but it's not.
The record labels haven't found it yet.
Yeah.
He's got some backup dancers that are crazy and are just like shaking violently this whole time like this.
That's what cereal does to you.
Well, Minneapolis and the crew continue trying to figure out how to get the cabbage. Big Bird suggests just pushing on the wall, which of course doesn't work. Bob suggests kicking the wall, which also doesn't work, but does lead to them accidentally dancing together. So finally they read the poem that is on the map, which says, "When son of snuff and yellow bird sing toraloraleer, doo-wop, and hippity-hop, the cabbage will appear."
Big Bird's fine. He finds himself on so many supernatural adventures. And this
That's
is
true.
another one.
This is old news to him. He's like, oh, Snuffertiti, yeah, I've met your god.
Yes. Oh, I'm the chosen one. This is like the 4th time I've been the chosen one. So, okay.
So, of course, the wall shakes open as they sing the song. The cave seems to be collapsing as a giant ball is rolling towards them. As they run out of the cave, we see Jeff Goldblum grab his hat, Indiana Jones style. It feels like it could be a problem for the Snuff family.
I hope their house is okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But turns out the shadow of the giant ball rolling was actually just the little golden cabbage, which rolls out perfectly at their feet. But Minneapolis' time to leave has come. He asks Bob to come with him. Bob says he doesn't like to go too far from home. And they sing a little song together about, I'd rather stay home. I'd rather be traveling. I'd rather sing songs. I'd rather find treasures.
Jeff's really putting some mustard on his part of these songs, too, in a way
He's
that
a
I feel like
singer.
he wasn't really supposed to.
He just dropped an album like a week ago.
Jeff Goldblum did?
Yeah, he's constantly dropping jazz albums.
I didn't know that.
He's on tour right now in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, he's really belting it out.
It does feel, though, like you're right. Like I think that's kind of against the character he's supposed to be playing. Is like,
right, 'cause
you're
I
not
feel
the
like-
singer.
Yeah, there's a bunch of times where he's like, Bob's a great singer. So maybe there's like a little implication that like Minneapolis is kind of jealous of how good of a singer Bob is.
I feel like this happens, though, in musicals a lot, where a character who is not a singer suddenly belts out. And it's not like addressed as like, wow, but you're actually really good. And it's just like, no, he needed to tell a story through song.
Yeah. You're still a bad singer in the context of the film. Yeah. I do like the little lesson here of like, it's kind of bittersweet that parts of your family are going to go do different things, but it's also okay.
But as Minneapolis leaves, he's going to take the golden cabbage to the Smithsonian Museum. Raises more questions.
Do they have their own Washington, D.C.? Do they still rule humanity in this universe?
Oh, maybe it's like Planet of the Apes, the Tim Burton one, where at the end he comes back and the Lincoln Memorial is an ape.
The president's
in this world, it's a
snuffleupagus.
My favorite part of this, though, is Jeff Goldblum, as he runs into the garage. And you're like, that's kind of weird. That's how the episode ends. But no. Big Bird asks Bob, why did your brother go into the garage? And Bob says, I don't know. And Minneapolis runs out and says, I went the wrong way. And then goes the other direction.
Jeff Goldblum's so charming.
We watched a sketch called Caribbean Air from February 21st, 1990. This is mostly Jim doing a Caribbean sort of Jamaican accent that is sort of,
I don't think it's okay.
I would say, not great.
Yeah.
It is a new Jim voice.
Yeah. Don't find that one, Jim. Don't do that one. You're right, though, Matt. It's a monkey paw kind of situation.
Hey, we want another Jim voice, okay? I don't know if you're going to like this one. Then we got a news flash, which is Old MacDonald's Health Farm, where Kermit is visiting Old MacDonald's farm, but it's a quiet day because an extremely Scottish Old MacDonald has put in a few improvements for the animals.
Ducks doing aerobics and stuff.
Tennis courts, swimming pool. Lyle and Muffy the pigs are playing tennis. It's my favorite part of this, though, is that Jim makes Richard Hunt laugh.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Because he mocks his Scottish accent when he says the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Kermit and then Richard's like, yes, the pool.
That was really great.
And yeah, it ends with an aerobics class after a rude cow tells Kermit he could stand to lose some of his tadpole fat. And Kermit is beautifully out of rhythm trying to dance with the aerobics class and sing with them.
Good. Yeah.
And he doesn't know the song, and so he can't dance along. And Jim's just doing some of his best work ever.
This
here.
is a truly unhinged Muppet news flash.
We also saw a sad sort of interesting song where Ernie and Snuffy realize that, hey, we can be friends even when our best friends aren't here.
Yeah,
which,
this is
I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and Jim being on the set like that is rare.
I know we've seen Sick Muppets before, but the idea of the reason Bert's isn't here is because he suddenly fell ill.
Yeah.
And he had to go home. Makes me really sad to picture for some reason.
Maybe he has had diarrhea. Bert seems like a guy who'd have like some kind of stomach problem.
Yeah.
The Bird family was interesting because those birds were divorced.
Yeah, the kids learn a little bit about divorce in a sketch called Bird Family. This is, again, one of the last things Jim did in the studio, where Kermit is interviewing a bird that lives in the park, and her parents are divorced, and so she lives in 2 separate trees.
And the bird's so cute, and it was making me genuinely sad to hear her listen to. My dad lives in that big tree over there, and I go see him, and I love him too. Yeah,
it was sweet, though. It's a sweet, like, little country song that they all sing about parents living in different places, but they still both love her. We also did get to see the debut of Elmo's song, as Sam mentioned earlier. There's not much to say beyond that, but I do enjoy Big Bird and Snuffy's performances during this scene. They're reacting to Elmo's song, and they're being like, wow, to think he wrote this alone. And I'm like, it's very good.
What were they trying to say there?
I think they're impressed because they're Big Bird and Snuffy.
Okay.
I think if Bob had said it, I'd be like, what an asshole.
Yeah, what are you trying? Yeah, like, who do you think? I mean, it is impressive they know how to play the little piano and all that kind of stuff. He's like busting out a lot of new talents.
I don't know if I hear any piano in this song. There's a lot more instruments than just piano.
You think he's faking it? Okay.
Yeah, he's playing an album.
It did feel like they were going for, which I think they have done a couple times, where it's like Elmo's thing is that he's kind of annoying, and that they don't that kind of goes away eventually when everybody loves Elmo in the real world. But yeah, it was when they say it's amazing he wrote this by himself, did feel like the start of like, okay, this song sucks, Elmo. It's so long and boring.
It feels like a pivotal moment in Elmo coming to take over Sesame Street, though, because I'm sure 1,000 children started singing the song immediately afterwards and annoying their parents.
Absolutely.
And so suddenly Elmo was the star and the character at the head of Sesame Street that parents started to hate. this episode, we've already been recording for quite a while, and we watched so many more things that if you go look at our watch list that we post on commitment.com and also on social media, you'll see all the things we watched this week. And I do want to thank Shane for sending us that list. I'm very glad we watched them, but we just don't realistically have time to discuss every single thing we watched this week. Well, the last thing we'll mention this week is Shapes in My Room, which we've been told is a fan favorite. I was not familiar with this, but it's Telly singing a song about shapes, including his own round head, his square window, and
his evil triangular lamp.
This feels like the Telly that he doesn't want anyone to see.
Yeah, this is Telly when he's in his room by himself singing, because Telly was fucking going nutso. The song rocked.
Yeah, the song is amazing. Definitely check out Shapes in My Room if you have not heard it before.
Yeah.
I don't know what there's much to say about it, but
he's got social anxiety because he's so different when he's by himself.
Which I wish was explored maybe a little bit more, and maybe it is in stuff we haven't seen, but this Telly is a very different Telly from any Telly we have previously witnessed.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of a bad thing in a way, because I do love Telly when he is being himself too. But I don't know. He just felt like he should be in the Electric Mayhem or something in this. He was just really like scatting and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, this is what the years of him being obsessed with television did to him back in his early days.
Yeah. Or the performer heard this song and was like, this song fucking rules. I'm going to go
Yeah, this feels like a Martin P. Robinson choice to be like, here we fucking go.
Yeah.
But that does it for our coverage of season 21 of Sesame Street. As we've talked about before, we can't watch everything they do for Sesame Street, and we don't even have time to talk about everything we watched for Sesame Street this time.
There's too much Sesame Street.
There's too much Sesame Street at all times. So please go check it out on your own time. Check out the watch list we put together, especially things like Shaped in My Room. But yeah, good show, Sam, I will say.
It's a good
Sesame Street,
show.
It's a good show.
It's a good show. It's sad that we talk about Ghosts of Faffner Hall as long as we talk about a whole season of Sesame Street.
Spoiler alert, we're almost done, Sam.
That's the life we've chosen for ourselves.
Well, Sam, what non-Muppet things did you get to enjoy this week?
Hey, I finally saw Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
I gave it 1 star on my Letterboxd.
That's very bad.
It is not a movie. It shouldn't be consumed by anyone.
That there's not really a plot at all. It's just kind of different worlds that they go to.
It's quite terrible.
That's a shame.
And I read an interview with Shigeru Miyamoto where he was like mad that people didn't like this one. It was kind of funny. He was like, I really thought I thought we had fixed a lot of the problems from the first one with this one. I'm a little disappointed in the response, which is an interesting thing to say when your movie's still out.
Yeah.
And also,
I feel like that's something he can get away with that other, like Jack Black's not going to go out there and say that.
Totally. And he also kind of implied that like the film industry were a bunch of ingrates for like looking down on him coming in, because he said like, me and other people from outside of the film industry have been coming in and trying to reinvigorate your industry for years.
Wow. Okay.
And we don't really get like welcome. And it's like, Shigeru Miyamoto, bro, you're really going out. I mean, you're Shigeru Miyamoto. You know best. But the other thing is that he wants to recognize the films as the new official Mario canon.
Interesting.
Buddy, I don't know. There's just like this internal thing where I think newer people, he doesn't make the Mario games as much as he he just doesn't make them anymore. And I think newer people come in and they're trying to take stuff from when they were kids that they liked from Mario things and like remix it and give it a little bit more of a story and like give his universe more personality that it kind of hasn't had sometimes. And I think every now and then he just comes in and is like, flushes the toilet, I guess, not to be like crude, but it's just like, no, we're not doing this anymore. Like for a while, like Toads all could look different and they had different designs, and like the Mario RPGs had this whole like design language, and then they went back and remastered them to make all the Toads look the same. And I think that's indicative of like, there's a certain thing he wants that he's going to keep going back and like making happen because he's still got all of this power over everything. But the movie, pretty bad. Fox McCloud was really cool though. Yeah. Spoiler alert, Fox McCloud is in it. Well, how about you?
I'm still sort of working through my Marvel MCU rewatch I was doing forever ago.
Oh yeah.
But I dipped back in and finished Jessica Jones season 1.
Oh.
I watched Deadpool. And now I'm on to Daredevil season 2.
Have you haven't watched the new season of Daredevil? I assume.
No, this is my first time experiencing Daredevil at all,
season's
and I
good.
get the hype because Daredevil season 2 with Punisher in it is amazing.
Oh my gosh, Punisher's so cool. Born Again season 2 is really good. Born Again season 1 is fine, but there are scenes with Punisher where you're like, hell yeah, this guy rules hard.
Yeah, Sam's one of those guys who drives around in a truck with a big Punisher logo on the back. Everyone should know that about Sam.
The whole point of Born Again is Punisher specifically killing cops who wear the Punisher logo.
Oh,
it's
wow,
awesome.
interesting.
Yeah, that's his whole storyline. It's fucking cool.
Well, we gotta get out of here, but I gotta let you know what we're watching next time, and it'll be our final visit to Faffner Hall as we finish up the one and only season of that show with the last 4 episodes that we have to watch, which are called Discovering New Sounds, Music Brings Us Together, The Power of Music, and Anyone Can Make Music.
Oh, fuck off.
Doesn't it feel like I just said the same thing 4 times?
Those are all the same.
It does feel that way.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be done with this show finally next time. But for now, we got to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget to go to commitment.com for all commitment needs. If you want to get in touch, you can email us at mail@commitment.com or follow us on social media at commitmentpod or at commitment.com on Blue Sky, or you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.